From Wisconsin, we head over to Richmond, Virginia. It's not only the final race of the season, but also the final broadcast here on the Evan Wall Media YouTube channel, and the night that we'll be crowning the champion of the Geezer Authentics Xfinity Series in the Bandit Racing League's 8th season. 200 laps, 150 miles around our 4th short track of the season, Richmond Raceway. We have 4 drivers in contention for our championship, but tonight it's really down to 2. Who's going to walk away with the trophy, Nick Nickerson or Cody Welch, 20 points behind him? We'll talk about that in a minute, but first I'm going to throw it over to our league's owner and operator, Bill Harkins, who wanted to say a few words.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the season championship at the Bandit Racing League. Season 8 comes to a close tonight. Nick Nickerson, Cody Welch, they are battling for the championship tonight. But I want to thank everybody, from all the viewers to all the league members, everybody that has participated in the series this year. We have had awesome turnouts. We have had some very good races. We've had a couple, not so good, a lot of cautions. Unfortunately, that's going to happen when you have growing leagues. We've had some very fun stuff happen this year. Some new drivers have come in and really shown some great progress and great competition. We had our first female winner this year with Ashley winning. We've had Nick, dominate quite a bit, and that's okay. Everybody has to have somebody that's dominating. But what I want to do is, really thank Evan Wall for what he has done for us. Evan has really made this league a spot on the map. People know about the league now. People are coming to the league. We will always do our best, everything we can do to maintain this as a free league for everybody and keep it as family friendly as we can. It's important to me that the league grows, and it grows in a good manner, of which it is. And with Evan departing, we welcome in Marshall Crocker Jr. with Full Send Network to be our broadcast partner for next year. And I encourage all of you guys to please go, like, share, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. You guys know what to do. So you do stay and be part of our family. Special thank you to Matthew Crockett. Matthew has, I can't even put into words how helpful he is for us in our season. Matthew is a pivotal person in this league. All the admins, and we have a decent list of admins. Brett, Brandon, Nick, Trey, Garrett. I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm doing all this off the cuff. I had something written, but I'm running out of time. So, long story short, admins, you guys have done a killer job this year, and have made this fun also. Looking into next season, we'll go to the trucks. The Gander Truck Series, which has been interesting for us in the past. So we have a new year coming. New year starts quick, July 14th, right after the holiday. First week after the holiday, we go at it. But the key to this is, I want everybody to know, if you were here and only ran one race with us, or if you've been here to run the entire season with us, every single person has been appreciated. Every one of you guys I've thought of at a time or another. The family members that are watching, thank you guys. The ones that are commenting, thank you. The participation. I want to do this as a league owner and as a devoted race enthusiast for everybody, for family, for friends, and for racers who just can't really be out in a car every single week doing this. So, with that said, again, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look forward to next season, guys. We'll see you then. Thank you.
That was Bill Harkins there saying a couple of words. He introduced us at the very beginning of the season, so it's only fitting that he has a video pre-race at the end of the season to kind of draw us out of the season before tonight's final race here at Richmond. But real quick, since points are the big thing, let's go ahead and talk about that. Leading your championship points is Nick Nickerson with 3,402 points. We've seen him up front all year. He has 7 wins on the season. He's going to be looking to make that 8 tonight and bolster his first position in points. Second place is going to be Cody Welch. He's 20 points behind the leader. Now we had Curtis Yancey do a little bit of math, and if Cody Welch sets pole, leads a lap, leads the most laps, and has the fastest lap of the race, then Nick needs to finish 10 spots ahead of Cody to secure his victory. So Cody Welch, 20 points behind the leader. Third place is going to be Benjamin Lacey, 44 points behind the leader, and it is almost mathematically impossible for him to win the race. He's going to have to get really lucky, and Nick and Cody are going to have to get really unlucky. But what he can do is jump his way up into second place. That is definitely possible. 44 points behind the leader for Benjamin Lacey. And finally, rounding out your playoff drivers is Ricky Hart Jr., 66 points behind the leader. And it is now mathematically impossible for the driver of the 64 car to win the championship, but he can finish third. He needs to finish 23 points ahead of Benjamin Lacey to secure third without any bonus points. Then, of course, our final schedule. We finish Kansas, we finish Miami, we finish Road America, and that just leaves Richmond here tonight. It's going to be a fun race. It's Nick and Cody battling for the championship, and what do you think, Marshall? Who do you think is going to pull it out tonight?
You know, as it feels like it's been for weeks on end at this point, you know, everything is kind of in favor of it being Nick. He's designed the season and the way that he's raced such that he gets to avoid those stressful nights, like in the real-life NASCAR series where it's best of 4 drivers on one given night. He doesn't have to worry about that. With our point system, his dominant season thus far has paid off for him. He's had multiple wins in the past couple weeks. Of course, last week having to settle for second at a track that probably seemed like his wheelhouse, but Ashley Molyneux, though, taking that big win there and then calling her shot for tonight, so I'm sure she's going to throw a wrench in the plans of anybody in the championship fight. But no, I mean, Nick is the guy that's out here in the most comfortable position, as I was just talking about a minute ago, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't get in wrecks. He's got one major wreck in the entire season in a 21 race calendar. So tonight, as long as he can just do his thing, run his race, stay out of trouble. Richmond's not an easy track to stay out of trouble, but it is something that he's been particularly capable of in the past. But don't discount Cody Welch. He's one of those guys that he's proven in the past when he has those really good nights where he's just dominant from start to finish. He looks quick and gets in a rhythm. He can really build up those points. And as we were just talking about a minute ago there, Evan, about, you know, leading the most laps, leading a lap, starting on pole, all those bonus points that are going to be so crucial to close the gap of how far behind Nick needs to finish in order for him to reasonably become champion. If he can really get in that group that we saw maybe at Rockingham a couple weeks back, if he can find that group, don't count out Cody Welch. So we'll be keeping an eye on him tonight. But just as a final thing for those 2 playoff drivers left in the Final Four that didn't make it to this point, that aren't eligible for tonight, Ricky Hart and Benjamin Lacey, they both had incredible seasons in their own right. Of course, Ricky defending from his championship in Season 7 of the Bandit Racing League. They're going to want to come out here and make a statement, put a wrench in the plans of the other 2 guys that they were battling with, and end the season out on a high, go for the win there. So everybody's got something to fight for. Nick is the favorite, and I think, again, as I always say, if you're putting money on somebody, he's the guy you got to bet for. But we don't just take the highest chance in racing, and that's why we run these races, and that's why we see if those underdog shots can happen. And tonight, I have that feeling it's going to be a fun race. Could be a little bit chaotic, so keep an eye out for Cody Welch.
It is. Cody Welch is definitely a guy that you're going to want to keep an eye out on. Like we've said, second place in the points. And real quick, I'm going to pull him in, see if he's available for an interview. So we got about 4 minutes left here in practice. Hey, Cody Welch, this is Evan Wall up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got you.
You're sitting second place in points right now, and you're hoping that you can do everything you can. You're 20 points behind Nick. So what is your mindset coming into this race? What are you going to try and do once that green flag drops?
I need to have a good race, Marshall, and Nick needs to have a bad race. I know I'm still in it. There's still a chance. So I'm optimistic. I've run really good here in the past. After the update, I will say, though, the track is super slick, so I'm still trying to get the hang of that. But just going in like every other race and, try my hardest to keep my nose clean and keep the tires underneath me and keep saving them, too. Tire saving is going to be huge here.
Yeah, that's one interesting storyline as we had this update. So I'm assuming that you've driven the car before the update, and you obviously have driven it afterwards. How do you feel about the change? Is it a change that you were happy about, or do you wish that it stayed the same a couple weeks longer?
I honestly wish it would have stayed the same. The track seemed like it had a lot more grip. Car felt like it was on rails all the way around, really balanced with the old update. But the new update, the rear end of the car's all over the place, and it's really easy to overdrive the corner and, four-wheel loose and slide up the racetrack, get into the wall. So it'll be definitely something to pay attention to and try not to do. So, but yeah, I wish they would have just waited one more week to update. That would have worked out better for me.
Yeah, it sure would have. But hopefully, we've seen one that specifically comes to mind is Brandon Jackson. I know a couple weeks ago I interviewed him before the race. He didn't like the way that the car drove. He went out and dominated that race that we had. So hopefully you can do the same here tonight and make up that 20-point deficit that you've got.
Yeah, we're going to give her hell. Hopefully I'll have the same luck Brandon did and come home with the championship.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
We'll give her hell.
I'll go ahead and let you go. You got a minute left in practice before qualifying starts, so I'll let you get your belts tightened and everything, get ready to go, get mentally prepared for qualifying here at Richmond, but I'll be interviewing you after the race, hopefully as a champion.
Awesome. Thanks, Evan.
That was Cody Welch, of course, driver of the 85 car. And as I say that, we have 30 seconds left in practice before practice is over, and Ashley Molyneux in that 45 car sits atop your board. She called her shot in an interview. I don't know if it was last week, a couple weeks ago. I believe she did in both, honestly, saying that she expected to come out here to Richmond and win it, and she's definitely going to try and do that with a 22:01 on top of the board right now. Definitely a fast time for Miss Molyneux in the 45 car, but that's going to conclude practice time right now. We're going to get rolling with qualifying. We're going to watch for Nick Nickerson as he rolls off the qualifying board, and then as soon as he comes in and finishes qualifying lap, we're going to see if we can pull him down into the booth, your current points leader, and we'll let Marshall interview him.
I'm looking forward to it. I know Nick is always a fun interview and certainly a guy that has plenty to fight for tonight. There is, you just saw a moment ago, my favorite livery in the field, Matt Crockett's lovely tribute to you there, Evan. In his own words, put a photo of you on every part of the car as though you were looking out for him. So I kind of like the symbolism there. So hopefully he does well in set entry tonight. But tonight's qualifying here at Richmond is actually going to be really interesting. It's one of those tracks where Richmond, because it's such a tire conservation race, the drivers are going to be running very differently in the actual race in terms of apexes, wider entries and stuff like that than they do in qualifying. You're going to see, as we see Kevin Foster in the 8 car running his first attempt, I believe his first proper lap here in qualifying, going to be trying to go right to the yellow line here, and then probably a different line on the second aspect of the corner. The tires fall off really quickly, so hugging the bottom isn't viable all the way through. So he's the first driver with the time at 22.52. So not a bad time to start. Definitely a time that could put him about midfield. But yeah, you're definitely going to see different driving style here than you will in the race, meaning that some guys who may not have as much race pace might do well in qualifying, or vice versa. So keep an eye out on it. But whoa, huge lockup from Nick Nickerson there into the corner, gets wiggly on exit. And I think that was his first accurate time. So only one more attempt for the championship leader. His night might be getting difficult right off the very start.
Cody Welch sideways. He set the top time right before Brett Guzik took it away, but then into turn 1, I believe it was sideways down into the corner. You can see obviously doesn't like the way that it drove, but at least that first lap he was able to set down a quick time, sitting himself P2 at the moment. Brett Guzik, though, as I mentioned, with a very quick time, putting him at the top of the board, and there's Benjamin Lacey up to the 3 spot now.
Yeah, great lap there from Lacey. Brett Guzik, though, he's been great all season in qualifying. Got 3 poles to his name this year. This could be 4. Jason Greenwell as well going to go into 5th. Stevie Hendricks there not too far behind. Bill Hargens will jump up to 5th. There's a lap for our very own series coordinator. You just heard from him a moment ago. Nick Nickerson's going to run a 22.21. That is just under a 10th short of Brett Guzik's pole time. It's going to put him 3rd provisionally right now, but very noticeably behind championship rival Cody Welch. I believe that was his last attempt, so may get an opportunity to interview him in just a moment. There's Thomas Fensler on his warm-up attempt. Huge spin and lock up into the turn 1 wall. We've seen that a couple times now. Ashley Molyneux called their shot. Currently going to have to settle for 5th here in qualifying, but again, very different line, very different approach from the real race here at Richmond.
Yeah, there you can see Ashley Molyneux. He's currently sitting in 5th, like you said. Only a couple drivers left on track. Here's Aiden Kaiser in the 68 car, new driver to the series. Puts himself in 12th position on his first lap. Let's see what he can do on his second. As we say that, Brandon Jackson up to P2.
Yeah, that's one of those lap times you expect from Brandon Jackson, jumping just behind Brett Guzik. That was only his first attempt, I believe, too. Might have another chance to give him another go. But yeah, here's the 68 car of Kaiser, really quick in practice from what I could see, getting up to speed fairly quickly. Going to go 9th, I believe, on his second attempt. So there is his attempt. Gets into the top 10 in his very first race and is only 1 spot ahead of the identical number 70 entry of Chris Trickle.
Yeah, those guys, 2 new drivers. I'm assuming they're friends running similar paint schemes. Ricky Hart Jr., one of the last drivers to put up a time, but as we watch him go around the track, let's see if we can grab Nick Nickerson. I'm going to throw it to Marshall, who is with Nick.
Hey, Nick, it's Marshall up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, it is going quite well. We're going to try to make this quick because I know you got a big night tonight. You got to get your thoughts prepared. We don't have long before the start of the race, but you know, we were just talking to Cody a minute ago. He's seeming like he's in a pretty good mood. He's seeming like he's in a place where he's going to give you definitely a fight tonight, or as he said in his words, give you hell. But you know, tonight at Richmond, we were just talking about a moment ago, some new updates recently have definitely changed the track. I heard people in practice calling it slick. Have the recent changes given you any cause to worry? I know you're very comfortable with this car, so are there any additional factors that are making you a little more nervous and just trying to hold down your championship than maybe you were last week?
Not really. I mean, it seems a little slicker than I remember, but you know, it just makes me worry about passing maybe lap traffic later on. But I feel like we're all fairly even. I know I messed my qualifying lap time up pretty badly there, but I'm still, looks like maybe 5th here. Sorry, people are talking in the sim. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a good race. Hopefully, it won't be too many yellows. You know, if there is, hopefully we get them all done pretty quickly, and we can do some old-fashioned short track racing.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, and we're just we're getting ready to go. So I'll let you head off. Make this the shortest interview of the night, but we're talking to you post race either way. Whether you come away, you use that 20-point gap to your advantage, you win the title, and become the, I believe, 6th different champion in Bandit Racing League history, or of course, if you put in a solid performance, a very valid attempt, but Cody finds 20 points out of his back pocket, we'll talk to you anyway. So regardless, best of luck, have some fun, round off the season on a high note, and I can't wait to talk to you post-race.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
That was Nick Nickerson, of course, driver of the number 2 car, and quickly we're going to go ahead and go into our grid as drivers are getting ready to roll here, starting on the pole. The 04 car, Brett Guzik. To his outside is going to be the 99 car, Brandon Jackson. Then you've got Cody Welch, your first playoff contender in the 85, followed by Ashley Molyneux in the 45. Starting 5th, Nick Nickerson, followed by Benjamin Lacey, Kevin Foster, Ricky Hart Jr., Bill Harkins, and Aiden Kaiser to round out your top 10.
That we got Chris Trickle making, I believe, his debut tonight in the number 70 car, going to be starting in the 11th spot. To his outside, Benny Hogan there is going to be starting in 12th. Jason Greenwell, former championship driver as of a couple rounds ago, will be starting in 13th. Davey Hendricks, a fairly new name to the series, got a win on his name this season. He has been red hot lately. We'll see if he can do it again tonight, starting 14th. Spencer Breslin after that, starting in 15th. Eddie Hagge starts in the 16th spot. Hunter Henry behind him, fan favorite, will be starting in 17th. Matt Crockett with the great Evanwall Media paint scheme to his outside, starting in 18th. Connor Sawyer, who was quite quick last week at Road America, starts 19th. And around off the top 20, Cale Zook in the 44 car.
21 is going to be Charles Oberg, followed by Trey Ellis. David Leakey, Christopher Ferrara in 24th. 25th is going to be Thomas Finsler in the 17 car, followed by Mason Flagar, Mark Allen Bivens, Mark Allen Bivens, Victor Weaver, Alan Castle, and Anthony Caetano to round out your top 30.
To finish off the rest of the field, we got James Hartley, the final driver to run a qualifying time, running a 23-second exactly, starting in 31st. And the two drivers to not set a time are Steve Ulrich and Gary Wright, who round out the final driver lineup of the season.
So we're getting ready to go tonight for what ought to be a really fun race here at Richmond, Virginia. Lights are out on the pace car, and we're getting ready to go here. Brett Guzik with the beautiful pink paint scheme, getting ready to lead the field to green. And real quick, just to all the drivers that happen to be watching, thank you guys so much for all the paint schemes and all the well wishes. I really appreciate it. It's fun seeing all the Evanwall Media paint schemes out here. But with that, the pace car is diving off. And the 04 of Brett Guzik and the 99 of Brandon Jackson are going to lead us to green here at Richmond.
And they were dead even side by side into turn one. A great jump for Jackson, trying to do the over-under in turn one of 400 in this total race. He is going for it early, but right behind, Ashley Molino called their shot for a reason. It was right there on the back bumper of her good friend Brandon Jackson in the 99 car. As we finish up lap number one, Brett Guzik still up front, but Brandon Jackson looking in the inside once again.
Yeah, Brandon Jackson down to the inside, but Brett Guzik is going to hold strong on that outside. He's going to have the position as they head onto the back straightaway, and he's going to be able to hold on to first position. Ashley Molino, however, right on the back of the 99 car of Brandon Jackson, and Cody Welch directly behind them. Your playoff drivers are going to be in a line here. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Welch, Nickerson, Lacey, and Hart.
And here's the battle right off the bat. We were hoping to see the two championship contenders, the 2 and the 85, side by side into turn number 2, making sure not to slide up into each other. Nick is going to have a tough job from that bottom line, trying not to slide up, but also keeping his momentum. So for the time being, they're going to go side by side again. The two cars are going to have the inside line down onto the tri-oval, but still Cody Welch should get a better run from that top line. We'll see if he can cut down, but Nick Nickerson well to the inside, almost clear, and there is the first pass of the day, the first battle of the total war tonight. Nick Nickerson up to 4th, I should say, getting by Cody Welch, but it's a very long race, and a lot of things could change. So right now, the top 5 is going to stay as it is that last time by, but further back in the field, already seeing some progress. Stevie Hendricks up 3 spots, Bill Harkins back 3 spots, a couple other drivers, including Cale Zook, getting off to a good start here. Plenty of battles throughout the field mid-pack, but that is what that's what you come to expect here at Richmond.
And Brett Guzik already setting the quickest time of the race. He set a 22.25 already. The quickest time of the race out of anyone, and that's why he is up front running qualifying laps up there. But already we have our first caution of the night. Victor Weaver going to be around.
Well, it feels like it's been ages since we had a caution in this series, to be honest, between Road America and the week before. But here is the replay, the 23 of Victor Weaver there, the Duracell Batteries car on the inside line. This is coming off of turn number 2. Just kind of gets loose and locks it up there. It's really easy to do so at Richmond. Another one of those tracks with kind of an odd transition from corner to backstretch. So just locks it up a little bit. The tires go on the left into 1 and 2 and don't really want to stop when he got on the backstretch. So gathers it up, avoids the inside wall. So for a 200-lap race, a very long event tonight at Richmond, still the potential to make his way back through the field. And Victor Weaver is kind of showing the exact traits that our Championship 2 drivers up there need to do. Nick Nickerson, Cody Welch. Do what Victor Weaver just did. If you get in a wreck, if you have any sort of incident whatsoever, make sure you save it, prioritize the long run, because tonight, as I just mentioned, it's going to be quite the marathon rather than the sprint here at Richmond Raceway.
It is going to be a long night, 200 laps around this track, but it's going to be a lot of fun. But real quick before we get into it, this may be the end of my time broadcasting here on the Evan Wall Media channel, but the league will keep going over on Full Send Racing Network. So head over there to watch my co-commentator Marshall take over the Bandit Racing League broadcast and do an even better job than I've done this season. I won't be completely stepping away next season though. You'll see me run a part-time schedule on track with the number 91 truck, and I'll also be hopping up into the booth plenty to hang out, so this won't be the last time that you guys hear my voice, whether you like it or not. So hopefully you'll join us as we swap over channels. Again, that is Full Send Racing Network. The easiest way to find it is to click the link down below in the description, but you can also find it on my YouTube channel's homepage, or you can search Full Send Racing Network on YouTube and click the orange logo. Make sure you look for that orange logo. Once you're there, you can see a playlist already created for the next season full of scheduled broadcasts, and if you subscribe and hit that bell icon, you'll get notified every single time Marshall goes live.
Yes, indeed. And I can't wait for next season. Between the driver lineup we've accrued over the course of this year, so many new faces like Ashley Molyneux, Davey Hendricks, including some new faces I hear rumored we're going to come out for next season, as well as yourself, Evan. I can't wait to see you in the truck. And I've just become so attached to the series over the course of this season. It's without a doubt the best broadcast commitment I've ever taken on, and hopefully I'm going to have many within my both virtual and real career here on the racing side of things. But it's just been so much fun. It's going to be my pleasure to bring you guys the action and have that responsibility next year. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to be looking forward to doing whatever I can, making it. Of course, you said bigger and better there, Evan, but you've done such an all the way through flawless job. Really, like it's some of the most polished producing I've ever seen, and I've certainly worked with my fair share of producers in various gigs. So it's been so much fun. I can't wait to bring on the next season. But tonight, what better way to end off your time here broadcasting, Evan, than a track as competitive as Richmond, the season finale, and two great championship contenders. I can't wait for tonight, and I hope all of you at home can either.
I sure can't, and I can't wait for this restart. Ashley Molyneux on the outside, Brett Guzik on the inside. The pace car is off, and we're green here again at Richmond Raceway. Brett Guzik quickly out front, Ashley Molyneux to the bottom, but right behind them, we're double file the 99 car. Brandon Jackson on the bottom, the two, and Nick Nickerson on the top. But look up front, the 04 of Brett Guzik may be losing his spot here. The 45 of Ashley Molyneux down to his inside.
Yeah, the 04 on the start jumped up to the high line to try to take the racing line, but I think he did so a little bit too early. Ashley Molyneux capitalizes and called her shot last week, and she is acting on it very early tonight in the only the 11th lap of the race. She is up to the front spot, and Brandon Jackson side by side still with Nick Nickerson doing his very best to follow her through. Going to try to keep that inside groove going so that by the time Ashley does manage to get by, which she presumably should there from the inside lane, then Brandon will try to go with her. But Nick Nickerson, championship contender, in a bit of a sticky situation here. He may want to watch his car positioning here to think about the long-term race. As hand almost three wide into turn number one, Nickerson will back out, but we are still locked in this group in the second to fourth place positions. Ashley Molyneux going to clear the 04 car to take over the race lead. Brett Guzik comfortably there in that second line on the inside, but still Jackson and Nickerson side by side now 4 laps around Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, these guys are really battling it out, and you can see some battling all the way back through the field as your playoff drivers are still back-to-back. It's the two of Nick Nickerson in 4th place, Lacey 5th, Welch 6th, and Ricky Hart Jr. in 7th position. These guys,
Welch, winning your championship too, I should just say, just got passed by Benjamin Lacey. So his momentum, a word I use so much in this series, his momentum is moving backwards now, not the way you want to be going, but with the way we're kind of single file here at Richmond right now, everybody trying to get in a big groove and not really lose or gain spots, probably for the best for him right now, gather up his momentum and his strategy and really try to conserve those tires. Probably the best move right now for Welch.
Yeah, and you can see how single file these guys are getting right now. They know it's a long race. It's only lap 15 of 200, so still plenty of time to make moves, but these guys are still aggressive nevertheless. Back to back. Ashley Molyneux still up front. Brett Guzik right behind her in 2nd position. Look at Brandon Jackson, though, looking to that bottom line every single lap, and he looks like he's going to try and make the pass on the 04 of Brett Guzik. Down to the inside goes the 99 car, the 04 of Brett Guzik up on top.
He's going to manage to clear him this time out of turn number 2, but again, just the fact that Brandon was able to get down there shows that he's trying to move forward and he's not content with where he is, and he's Action Jackson for a reason, we call him. He is just able to find passing opportunities where maybe many other guys can't. Brett Guzik's just got to be careful to not do what he did with Ashley off the restart. You can't give somebody the bottom line here, especially not as much room as he gave to Ashley. So He's just got to kind of try to run the racing line, conserve his tires up there on the top. But as we just saw from the front camera of Brandon Jackson, got to dive down to the inside to defend it. A caution comes out for the second time tonight, fairly early on in the event. So a 7-lap green flag run, kind of let guys even out, and it should prove that we can probably get some good green flag laps in tonight. But for now, we have our second caution of the race. Just checking on who that would be for. Huh.
You see anything, Marshall?
I do not. It's unless it was manually thrown. I don't believe it was. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that was about either, but Brett Guzik going to be coming down pit road, as is Benny Hogan and Cale Zook. So an interesting decision there, come down pit road here on lap 19 of 200. In the pink Evanwall Media 04 car. He's going to be falling down quite a bit as not very many other drivers decided to come down pit road. But while we've got a little break here, I want to go ahead and talk about I noticed as soon as I hopped on that my fellow co-commentator here, Marshall, had his suit on. He was looking all nice, and it reminded me that I needed to dress up a little bit. It's my last race, so let's see if I can get us on here. I didn't go all out. I don't have the tie on. I'm not as nice as you. Let me button this top button so that I look a little bit better. But I didn't go all out. But I've got the suit jacket on. But I had to keep the hat on. We're at a short track. We're at Richmond. I've got the Racing Radios hat on. I've got the collared shirt and the suit jacket. I think that's good enough. I think I can keep the Racing Radios hat. But just had to go ahead and mention, we always talk about Mr. Greenwell. He's always looking fancy. I think we outdone him. I think we have outdone him tonight. This is probably the only time all season, at least that I've outdone him. But probably tonight. Who knows? I might not have even outdone him. I haven't seen what he's wearing tonight. He may have gone full tuxedo. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. But no, I think the hat goes with the look. Perfect, synchronization of the blacks there. They blend in perfectly. I think it's good. I don't have a navy blue plaid format hat to go with, unfortunately, what I'm wearing. But yeah, honestly, I kind of like it. It makes me feel, nice and official, nice and esteemed, and that's always a good thing to feel. So yeah, this is nice. I might have to. Again, I'm not going to promise this next season going forward. We're going to be. I'm going to be doing some of those races through the summer. And man, this attire, I don't know about you, Evan, this is not going to be sustainable through the summer months with the heat. But no, it's nice. I definitely see where Jason's coming from. And though I probably couldn't wear this to race, I don't know. I think there's some level of self-confidence that it gives you out on the racetrack. So maybe Jason's been taken from that philosophy all season.
Yeah, I definitely do feel a little bit more professional. It feels nice to come out here like this. But while we were talking about that, the 70 car of Chris Trickle came down pit road. One of a couple drivers that has come down pit road, the only driver to come down here on lap 20. But he was just down pit road in his pit stall for 4 seconds. So it looked like he had a little bit of damage. May have got something repaired real quick. Topped it off on fuel. Not exactly sure, but that 70 car of Chris Trickle did just come down pit road.
Yeah, that's one thing tonight going to be really interesting to watch is the long-term strategies, whether it be for fuel or tires. I think anybody that would have just pitted there would presumably be for fuel. As we've seen in the last couple weeks, people don't like to take tires this early, of course, because it limits your sets later in the race. Only got 3 sets, about a 60-lap fuel cycle, approximately somewhere in there, and then, of course, 200 laps. So probably minimum 3 pit stops, and, of course, 3 sets of tires. Probably going to want to make those sync up a little bit. So it'll be a while on old tires for these leaders before they can come in. But we're going to go for green for the 3rd time in tonight's event. The 2nd time after a caution. Green flag for Ashley Mono, who leads us to green. Much better jump there than Brett got last time, but we'll see if she can hold down the inside. Brandon Jackson and Nick Nickerson again, side by side and behind. Nick is going to take the opportunity immediately to jump to the bottom, and there he goes, capitalizing on that small bit of room left by the 99 of Brandon Jackson. And your championship leader, the guy trying to seal off the title, stays up in 2nd for the time being, but keep an eye on Cody Welch battling with both the 7 and 64 of Lacey and Hart, respectively, 2 fellow championship drivers.
Yeah, this is really the battle to watch here. The 85 car of Cody Welch battling with Ricky Hart Jr. to his outside. See, the 64 car may have bounced off the outside wall a little bit. I'm not exactly sure, but Cody Welch is the driver who really needs to have the good night tonight. Nick Nickerson, he could finish somewhere around 20 positions behind Cody Welch, and he would still be okay. It all just depends on how well the driver of the 85 car can wheel his Camaro around Richmond tonight. He's going to do as good as he can, and here he is working on the 64 car, Ricky Hart Jr.
You got to think it's so tough from a driver's perspective to try to balance out being careful and avoiding wrecks with battling for any spot you can take. But there is caution number 3, the shortest green flag stint of the night. And hopefully this time it was for a perceivable reason that we can actually show you a replay from, unlike last time. I'm seeing David Leakey has appeared to lose a couple spots. Going to keep an eye on him. Yeah, it's just really weird. So, there it is. Yeah, so we're going to see him get hooked by, I believe, the 25 car of Steve Ulrich there on the backstretch, and the 70 car of Chris Trickle. I believe, again, a first-time appearance tonight in the finale of the season. But he ran pretty well in qualifying, and remember, went back as a result of a pit stop, and that can be the downside of making that exact decision is when something happens up front, you can just be caught in the crossfire. I think the 84 of Leakey thought he was clear, tried to move up there in front of the 25 of Ulrich and just getting tangled together. And shout out to the 84 of Leakey for those great Evan Wall media portraits on the car, as many drivers are running tonight. And the 70 of Chris Trickle, relatively little damage, so he'll keep on chugging there. Maybe use a fast repair later in the race just for lap per lap speeds. But we're going to see this one more time from the hood of the number 70 car. Up front, you can also almost see a little bit of jostling there between the two cars, about 4 cars up in the row. But you're going to see that the 84 of Leakey blink back into screen. So the 25 of Steve Ulrich, who's coming up, doesn't see him, I would presume, and as a result thinks the line is clear, when of course it isn't. And that's just one of those things in sim racing. You just gotta deal with it when it happens. I mean, you're gonna have internet brief disconnections, and unfortunately taking out a driver that qualified in our top 10 for Chris Trickle. So it's a shame to see, but he'll keep on going. And again, we got fast repairs for a reason, so nobody's truly out of this race until you wreck twice.
Yeah, Chris Trickle, definitely a great driver, and one that I'm excited to see what he can do here in the series. He's a late model driver at the Bull Ring in Las Vegas, obviously the famous last name Trickle, but a very good driver, and excited to see what he can do here. Unfortunately, just like you said, caught right in the crossfire, really nowhere for him to go.
Well, we've had an action-packed start to the race here. Only 28 laps at a 200. We're just past 1/8 of the way through, so 14%. We've got plenty of race left to go, but we've already been seeing what I was talking about earlier, how the qualifying pace may not exactly be representative of how quick people are going to be in the race. I mean, think of Ashley Molyneux, qualified down there in 4th, made up 3 spots right off the bat. Brett Guzik, who off the start was looking pretty quick there. He's been so quick in qualifying all season, but unfortunately he dropped back a couple spots there to 4th. And as well as Nick Nickerson's up a few spots. Brandon moved back, Benjamin moved forward. So much shuffling this early in the event, which is definitely a good sign for an exciting, entertaining race to come. And there is the beautiful face of Evan Wall on the back left corner panel of the 85 of David Leakey. And Matt Crockett as well has a great Evan-themed delivery. So got to appreciate that, Evan. And I'd like your take on it, because as the man himself, what's it like to see your face plastered on cars all over the field?
You know, I really don't know what to think about it. It's neat, it's interesting, but you know, I'm just happy to see these guys race, no matter what paint scheme they have on, even though I really do appreciate all the special paint schemes from Matt, and almost every single driver running paint schemes. You know, they need to do a better job to keep it clean. You know, that 84 David Leakey, he got hit right in my face. That's unacceptable. You can't be doing that if you're going to run my face. That's the only thing that I say. Hopefully Matt can keep this one a little bit cleaner.
Well, I think it would be even more tactical if they put him back on the schemes for when you run next season. Because I think as a driver, if to see my face on the back end of cars all over the track, that'd get in my head miles more. So I'll be very sure to pull all images of my face from the internet before next season. So guys have to try to approximate based on what I look like in the Skype calls, because I don't know if I ever run in this series, which I hope to in the near future. I know that would certainly be in my head. But the pace car is off onto pit road. The 45 of Molyneux and the 2 of Nickerson, the top 2 in last week's race at Road America, on the front row for the restart. The 99 of Jackson gets a little bit squirrely off the start, but does get to the inside of the 2 car into turn number 1. The 45, great jump, so Molyneux is off. But Welch to the inside of the 7 car of Lacey as well. Look at him to maybe get back into the top 3 sooner rather than later. But side by side still between Nickerson and Jackson up to turn number 3.
Yeah, huge battling throughout the field. We have the 2-car Nickerson up on the top, the 99 of Jackson battling side by side here. And here's the 7 of Lacey and the 85 of Cody Welch battling for 4th and 5th position. We keep going back. It's more battles. The 8 of Kevin Foster is on top of the 21 car of Davey Hendricks. Then you have Eddie Haggy, who's racing right behind them in the 8th position. And there you see the beautiful paint schemes of Matt Crockett. But diving down low, the 04 of Brett Guzik making the move on the 10 car.
Yeah, Brett Guzik showing that pace on the inside line he had in qualifying, trying to make his way back through the field. Davey Hendricks, though, you were talking about a moment ago, biggest mover of the race in the top 10 tonight. He's up 8 spots, up to 6th, and the caution comes out again, number 4 and 33 laps. Just a couple laps there in that last stint as well. So Nickerson should stay ahead of Jackson. He will. Cody Welch did clear the 7 of Benjamin Lacey, so a productive stint for him. And that means that Welch and Nickerson will both be sharing a row in the next restart. Look forward for that. But the 44 car of Kale Zook is in the limelight in this one. And there's the 02 car of Charles Oberg. And that's Thomas Fenzor, who I think kicked that whole thing off. The 17 car getting in the top line and getting into the outside wall. And that caused the chain reaction there that made everybody kind of shoot into each other's quarter panels. There's the 11 of Bill Harkins getting involved late. The 6 car as well. That is Gary Wright getting involved in the aftermath. We'll have to see what happened to Thomas Fenzor beforehand that put him up in the outside wall, especially this early on a set of tires. So we're going to see one more time. They were 3 wide a couple car lengths back before that even happened, so got to wonder if something would have happened regardless of Fenzor's incident or not. But yeah, just looking at the replay on his side of things, it actually looks like he got tapped, possibly on entry. It was running, really slow in the previous corner, and I think the 02 car of Charles Oberg just gave him a little bit too much of a shove there into the corner, and that was what caused the whole thing. So you'll see there, kind of in the precursor to that, the 02 car of Oberg gets into the back of the 17 car who was off the pace, puts him up into the wall, and again, a 3 wide that already is a risky endeavor. Well, it only gets even tougher when a car up top that is running probably 10 miles an hour makes it a 4 wide.
Yeah, definitely not the most fun there causing that accident, but see if we can take one more look at it. What happened in the back of the accident, the 25 and the 79. Look at the 72 of Mason Flagar during this.
Oh, there you go. Oh, got tagged there at the end. That was some quick dodging there by the 72 of Flagar. Nice work for him. But that was one of those wrecks that I think would have been a lot worse in person. There were some heavy hits in that wreck, and no doubt going to be a little bit of cosmetic damage on a couple of cars.
Yeah, no pit stops yet, though. For most of these drivers, Christopher Ferrara, the 13 car, going to be in the pits in 14th position right now. Or I take that back. He wasn't going into the pits, just faking it. The only drivers that have pitted are Benny Hogan. Ricciard Jr. pitted the last caution. Victor Weaver pitted on lap 5. Chris Trickle on lap 20. Kevin Foster has pitted this caution, as has Mason Flagar, Anthony Caetano, and Steve Ulrich. Kale Zook also on pit road right now. Ashley Molyneux, though, still the driver out front. Nick Nickerson in second. Brandon Jackson third. Cody Welch fourth. And Benjamin Lacey fifth. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, so the guy I was just about to talk about there, Davey Hendricks, who's sitting there in sixth. Definitely an interesting case because he's one of those guys that historically this season doesn't always qualify up towards the top. Though he's often very quick, often can make his way into the top 5. He's had a couple of really good spots. But lately, he's kind of been falling in that kind of mid-pack in qualifying. But he just seems so poised, so rock solid there in the race that he doesn't make mistakes. He's one of those guys that doesn't seem to find himself in bad situations. And that's going to be such a valuable asset to have here at Richmond, where things are going to happen. We've already seen 4 cautions in 33 laps, that the most we've had in that many laps in I don't know how long. This series has been very clean these last couple rounds here in the playoffs. So Davey Hendricks, one of those guys that might appeal to his sort of racing. It was partially how he won there at Talladega a couple rounds ago to get his first win of the season. So he's starting on row number 3 now, to the outside of Benjamin Lacey, who's looked quick off the start. Of course, he's one of your championship drivers for a reason, 2 wins on the season. So there's tons of star power up here in the top 6. These battles are going to be nuts all the way through, and I can't wait for them. But I mean, Ashley Molyneux called her shot last week. She's the one we got to talk about this week. And I'd say if there's anybody that can give Nick a run for his money tonight with how quick and how consistent he's looked here at the start of tonight, it is Ashley herself, Road America winner just last week.
Yeah, she's had 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s in 3 starts here with the Bandit Racing League, and she's going to lead us to green here on lap 38 of 200, the 45 car leading us to green. 2 car of Nick Nickerson going to be directly behind her.
In the background into turn 1, a great run for Brandon Jackson off the start, but Nickerson through the block. Yellow comes out almost immediately. The start must have had some complications further back, but Cody Welch did everything he had to there on the restart as well. He was definitely in the picture. Had that gone a little longer, we'll have to see who was involved in that particular incident. I mean, just as a disclaimer, as always, the incidents will kind of peter out there towards the middle and end of the race, so don't worry, it will not be like this all the way through. But there, I think it was the 83 car of Greenwell, I believe, if I remember his scheme from pre-race, getting hooked by possibly Chris Trickle. I'm going to have to see another replay on that because there's so many moving pieces here at Richmond at all times. No, it was not Greenwell. It was a different livery, so we'll have to go back and identify that again. Maybe Nick, or sorry, maybe Evan, you can pick out names better than I can.
That's Alan Castle there, the one that gets turned around by the 70 car. Then Kevin Foster, Caetano, and Gary Wright all going to be ending up getting collected here.
Yeah, just looked like a really deep send there from the 70 car. Chris Trickle already trying to make his way back through the field after that last incident. You can see the damage to that front spoiler on his Chevrolet, and yeah, it just comes in a little bit hot. Maybe from his perspective, the 93 of Castle checked up a little bit more than he was expecting. It could be a number of factors, but the most notable part of that crash was Kevin Foster, started in 7th, pitted early for fuel. He's now been involved in 2 separate little wrecks, so not exactly the sort of early race happenings he was hoping for, but he was a perfect bystander to this entire thing. Gets caught by the 6th car in the aftermath of Gary Wright, who has also been involved in the last 2 wrecks. So these guys at the back here, unfortunately, are the ones that are having to deal with the aftermath of all these chaotic battles and restarts. And I think, again, as I just mentioned, we're going to see it peter out towards the end of the race, but this is the exact reason that though it may be better to take fuel early for the sake of long-term strategy, it's such a risk there to put yourself towards the back of the field at any race, really, in any series, but particularly at a short track.
Yeah, and I think this is just one of those situations where Chris Trickle, he's a great driver, but he hasn't raced with a lot of these guys yet, so you could say that it was his fault, but it wasn't necessarily his fault. He's going in that corner, and he doesn't know when Alan Castle is going to lift, so he has to guess when he's going to lift, but you don't know these drivers, and you don't really know when they're going to lift, so Chris Trickle could just send it in there just a little bit deeper than Alan Castle was willing to at this point in the race, and he just wasn't able to anticipate the driver in front of him good enough because I'm assuming he hasn't been around him much this race, and that's where he got into the back of him and unfortunately sent Alan Castle in the beautiful Evanwall Media paint scheme around. It's going to put Chris Trickle back to 23rd position, Alan Castle back to 27th.
Well, I mean, the thing that jumps to mind here, having 5 cautions down the first 43 laps, about 1 every 8, which again, as I just said, is going to start to peter off by the end of the race. This doesn't happen all the way through. Once everybody kind of gets more comfortable, gets in touch with how to race in such large packs, then it'll be fine towards the very end. But these races have always seemed to benefit those guys that, have that short-term pace. Typically, it has been Nick Nickerson. Nick has dominated these races this season when there's been a large number of cautions. Anytime over about 10, Nick is probably about 80 to 90% likely to win the race, just because oftentimes we've seen all season, Evan, he's so quick in terms of, pure outright pace. It's why he has nine poles to his name on the season. Wasn't able to get 10 tonight, but came very darn close. And it's just what we see from him. It's that fastest car that in the short term can just hug the inside of the line like you have to do in qualifying and just dominate from that spot. So tonight, if we see a lot of cautions, maybe that pedestal is going to pass over to Ashley Molyneux, who has shown early in the race, both on the starts, restarts, or just lap-to-lap pace, has more than enough momentum to hold off anybody in a short-term battle. So we'll see if that goes continuing forward. But Nick's kind of ability that he's had all season to win these caution-filled races might come back to bite him tonight. But now we're getting ready for the 5th restart of the race, 6th overall, green flag here at Richmond. Everybody gets up to a quick jump. Everybody was on their game into turn number 1. Nick is going to settle into line 2nd, Brandon for 3rd. But again, Cody Welch and Benjamin Lacey side by side for 4th, a little ways back.
Yeah, the big send in there for the 7 car of Benjamin Lacey, and a good run from him as he's going to be battling the 85 car of Cody Welch, and it looks like he may have that position there. But look at the 04 car of Brett Guzik under the 21 car of Davey Hendricks, moving himself up into 6th position.
Yes, indeed. Guzik moving his way back through the field. That's what I like to see there. Trying to get back in the conversation. The 6th caution of the day just came out, getting called on track, and that'll be yet another. And I believe Cody Welch will be scored behind the 7 car of Lacey. That's at least how it looks based on how they're driving under yellow here. So yeah, Cody Welch going to lose 1 spot there, but instead is going to get the inside line into turn number 1 on the next restart. Arguably a better line to be in anyway, so we'll see how he can roll with those punches. But he's had a very busy night so far. Benjamin Lacey may not be in the top 2 here in the championship order, but he's doing his very best to give him some trouble there. And remember, Benjamin, I believe, can still finish up there in 2nd potentially based on how tonight goes. But just look throughout the field, trying to check on who that caution would have been for. And I am unsure as of right now. I know Kel Zook is off the pace, but I don't know if it would be for him. And no, he just pitted, but it doesn't appear that he was involved in the wreck, so that'll take some sleuthing to figure out.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but Brett Guzik has decided to come down pit road. He already pitted once. Now he's coming down one more time. His last pit was only 5 seconds. We've also got Charles Oberg making his first trip down pit lane tonight, as well as Gary Wright. He's already pitted once. He's pitting one more time. And Kevin Foster, he's had to pit 3 times tonight. This will be his 4th.
So this is a situation I see Brett Guzik in the pits watching his pit stop as we speak, is taking 4 tires. So remember, you get 3 full tire sets here in the Bandit Racing League. Mathematically, to split them up in order to use the full potential of all of your 4 sets of tires throughout the race, you would split it into 50-50-50-50 segments and pit 3 times. The only problem with that is we've had a lot of cautions here early in the race, which means laps under caution, which means you're burning up your tires less than you are later, when again, as I said earlier, you're going to have presumably less cautions, more green flag racing. So Brett might just be taking this opportunity. He thinks he can move back through the field on new tires, maybe always the potential that because of green flag pit stops, he may not get the opportunity to take both sets. So it's a bold strategy switch, but I just liked how in that last stint we saw Brett showing the pace he had in qualifying again. He was your pole sitter for a reason, starting to move back through and gain that very vital, as I always say, momentum back in his favor.
Yeah, now let's take a look at our Skype cameras where we can see our 4 playoff drivers. You see Nick Nickerson and Cody Welch on the left, the 2 drivers racing for the championship. Ricky Hart Jr. drinking, what was that? Was that a Miller Lite, I believe, in VR? Then Benjamin Lacey there on the bottom right. All these guys in the hunt for the championship, the race for the championship, but really only Nick Nickerson and Cody Welch have a chance to come away with it after tonight here at Richmond. But we got 50 laps down of 200. Nickerson's sitting in 2nd. Lacey's in 4th. Welch is in 5th. Ricky Hart Jr. all the way back in 15th position. Back 7 positions from where he started, but he has pitted once, whereas all these other guys have not pitted. Ricky pitted on lap 26, and he did take tires that time, so Ricky has already used a set of tires. But one thing that I'm interested about, Marshall, because you have this information where I do not, I'm curious if any of these guys have accrued any incident points, specifically Nick and Cody, because if you have an incident point free race, you get 5 extra bonus points. So if Cody can get those 5 extra bonus points and Nick does not, that is really going to help him here tonight.
That is a very good question, and I have an answer for you. Both of them do. Both Nick Nickerson and Cody Welch have already taken 4 incident points, presumably off of some minor car contact in the battles they're involved in. So those bonus points are null and void. It's just going to come down to the fastest lap, leading lap, most laps led, and as of course, as usual, the flat-out race points. So that aspect, those very vital points that could have come in handy for Cody to make up that gap, appear to be off the table.
Not surprising at a short track here like Richmond that has already gone out the window. But the pace car is off, and Ashley Molyneux, she's getting ready to lead us to green. And the big jump from her, but the 2 of Nick Nickerson is going to do his best to stay on the outside lane. The 99 car of Brandon Jackson is going to jump to the inside of him, try and get 2nd place away. But again, here's the battle between the 7 car of Benjamin Lacey and the 85 car of Cody Welch side by side as they come down the back straightaway.
Yeah, the battle for 2nd, the battle for 4th are almost identical here as we come through turn number 4. Jackson just barely under the corner panel of the 2 car. I guess Nickerson could clear now if he wants, and he does. So Nick Nickerson back up comfortably into the 2nd spot. But this battle again, the 85 and the 7, still side by side. Cody Welch, I worry about how much he's going to burn his tires up if he has to stay to that inside line for such a long period of time. But there was a much better run off of corner number 2. The 85 car back up to the 4 spot, clears Lacey, championship rival. So here we go, Cody Welch, that forward momentum, he's got to get it working once again. Now Davey Hendricks in the 21 car going to try to get involved, try to take Lacey out of this battle as far as Cody Welch is concerned. Welch did slide up a little bit, kind of a lock-up into turn number 1, so is going to lose a little bit of momentum. He's got to try to get the slipstream on the 99 car, make up some ground. But the 21, Davey Hendricks, a guy who's had plenty of battles throughout the year with these top guys battling for the title, is back in the fight. There's the 76, I believe, of Mark Allen Bivens battling side by side with Trey Ellis. Trey's been so fun to watch this season. Keep an eye on Ricky Hart Jr., another one of your championship 4. Again, can't win the title, but is on new tires and is very quick at these short-range ovals, I should say.
Yeah, you got road courses on your mind, but we're here at a short track tonight, and the 4 car of Trey Ellis is making that bottom line work. Like you said, he's got the 76 of Mark Allen Bivens on the top, as well as the 64 car of Ricky Hart Jr., and we've seen the 4 and the 76 race plenty this season. This isn't the first time we've seen them, and they're side by side. The 4 car looks like he's going to be able to take the position. Trey Ellis moving up into the top 10. Ricky Hart Jr. there on the bottom, and he's going to try and do the same thing as Ellis did, looking to follow him.
Right, yeah, picture perfect on the yellow line there on the inside. Those new tires are just showing how much better they are, just how comfortable that car looks under braking, but also how tight he's able to throw it to the inside of the line. There's the 10 car Matt Crockett kind of out of the groove. Might clear Trey Ellis again through the trial because he's going to have that better run, but the 64 car, if the 4 car can't clear him and they're going to go side by side, this might be the chance he needs. Might try to make it 3 wide, look to the bottom, but the 4 car got a good enough run to block him off. Ricky Hart there doing whatever he can with those fresh tires, but up front, the 45 and the 2 car, this is a battle we didn't expect to see with how quick Mono was looking, but Nick is the championship leader for a reason. To the inside goes the 2 car, maybe looking for revenge after last week. Actually broke up the streak on road courses this season for Nick. Won at Road America. She's got the hot hand right now. But keep an eye on this battle, because not only is this risky for the 2 car, again, looking for the championship, but the 99 to Jackson in the catbird seat, ready to pounce at any moment.
Yeah, the 99 is there. He's ready to follow whichever lane is quickest. And like you said, this is risky for the 2 car of Nick Nickerson, but these 3 of the best drivers in the series right now, as Nick Nickerson works that bottom lane trying to get in front of the 45 car of Ashley Molyneux.
The top 5 really starting to jump away. They're proving exactly why they are 3 championship drivers and 2 of the best in the series. But right now, again, Nick is doing a great job. They're dealing with the oversteer you have driving on that inside line, trying to rotate the car more than Ashley has to from that top line on entry. With the 2 car doing his very best, still staying with her, just forcing her hand, and Ashley has really been forced to the outside wall. You saw some sparks coming off the outside of the 45 car there from the front hood of Jackson. She's given it everything she's got there to keep it off the wall. Jackson looked like he might peak 3 wide. And again, Nick, he got the guy that won last week. We know how quick Ashley is, but she's really having to work that car. And the man they call Action, again, you just talked about, Evan, 3 of the best in the series. You know they're going to try to race each other clean. But at a certain point, when does the aggression take hold and maybe put you at risk of an incident? There is the aggression I was just talking about. The 99 car jumping to the bottom of Nick Nickerson just lost the spot proper to the 45 of Molyneux. And now, though, a great run from the outside. That was a beautiful trial run there from the 2 car. So back up to second, back in the groove on Molyneux potentially if the 99 doesn't jump into 3. But the 85 car, Cody Welch, welcome back, championship contender. He is not going to give up on this battle either.
Yeah, but this is what the 2 car Nick Nickerson does. He could just ride around and not really race, but he's out here to have fun. He's having a good time, and he wants to come out and win this race. He doesn't want to coast around, finish in the top 10, and easily win the championship. He wants to win tonight on the same night that he wins the championship. He wants to make it 8 wins on the season. He's not content with 7. He's obviously trying to do that, but the 85 car of Cody Welch definitely has other plans. You see, it has some damage to the front bumper. He's already had to use it. And lap 65 of 200, it wouldn't surprise me if Cody Welch uses that front bumper a couple more times here tonight at a short track like this.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends on how Elbows out he's willing to get here. But right now, he doesn't really have the opportunity. You're going to have to send it deep on the brakes onto the inside under the 99 of Jackson if he wants to get that spot. But then you become at risk of losing that spot to the other guy right behind him, Benjamin Lacey in the 7 car. Benjamin, 2 wins on the season. He knows what it's like to operate up here in these close quarter battles in the top 5, so we'll see if he can continue his forward momentum. There's the 3-car of Connor Sawyer there. Kevin Foster right behind him, took a quick repair just a moment ago. The 3-car of Sawyer battling with Mark Allen Bivens right now in the 76 car. I think that's the 88 of Hogan as well getting involved. So 2 rows of 2 wide. Might have been a 3 wide there, but Connor Sawyer made a very clear move to block off the inside. Whoa, that was a huge, yeah, I was going to say, very sharp angle into turn number 3. Gets into the side of Mark Allen Bivens, but they keep going forward. The 76, that was some heads-up driving from Bivens to keep the wheels on that thing. Keeps it on track. And fan favorite, as I always call him, Hunter Henry, taking that spot over. I believe this is the battle for 18th. So Hunter Henry up into the top 18. Connor Sawyer drops back to his qualifying spot in 19th.
Yeah, Kevin Foster now moving his way up to 15th position, but still down 9 positions from where he started the race. Up front, though, here's the side-by-side battle between the 64 car of Ricky Hart Jr. and the 04 of Brett Guzik. They've got Eddie Hagge right behind him. This is the battle for 7th position.
There it is, side-by-sides all over the track. You see the 04 car there doing just what Nick was able to do a couple laps ago, really using those new tires to hold his inside line there into the tri-oval. Something that's easier said than done. He's going to have a deep descent into turn number 1, but he's going to lose the momentum. Speaking of losing momentum, Brandon Jackson just lost a spot out to Cody Welch a moment ago, is what I was just about to mention. The 85 car up to 3rd now, but now he's lost the spot to Benjamin Lacey as well. Looks like he's really having trouble conserving those tires, keeping it locked right against the outside wall there. He's starting to slip up a little bit. There's Chris Trickle in behind in the 70 entry, and he is a lap down, so no need to worry about that battle for position. But the longer he starts to slip backwards, the better chance that Davey Hendricks there sitting in the 4th spot, or sorry, the 6th spot, I should say, might have potential to move his way up, get by Trickle, and get back into the battle for the lead that he's been in so many times so far this season.
Yeah, a couple guys coming down pit road. Jason Greenwell, Spencer Breslin coming down pit road. Connor Sawyer just coming off of pit road, as is James R. Hartley, Anthony Caetano, Charles A. Oberg. So a good bit of drivers deciding to come down pit road. Connor Sawyer just came down pit road. So did Eddie Hagge, Nick Nickerson, Cody Welch heading down pit road right now.
Yes, indeed. Molina was going to stay out, so she's going to hold on to the lead a couple more laps. Benjamin Lacey's going to stay out as well. But yeah, as you mentioned there, it's going to be Nickerson and Welch, the 2 championship contenders tonight, the first 2 to pit. Looks like they're going to value those new tires over that longer run. And then the 2 car of Nick Nickerson kind of slow on pit road. I don't know what's happened for him there. I'm keeping an eye on it because it was the same trouble that he had last week there at Road America. It was what cost him the win then. So just keeping an eye on him. We'll see who wins the battle off pit road there. But I'll also keep an eye on Ashley Mono, your current race leader, is going to stay on track this time. So it looks like she's planning to go long. So is Benjamin Lacey. So those top 2, neither have taken tires to this point. Neither of them have pitted. So maybe kind of exercising and proving their ability to conserve on the longer run. There is Ashley Mono in the 45. Nick still in the pits. This is it, Evan. I don't know what it is. We won't truly know till the end of the race. This is what happened at Road America to lose him the streak, and I really hope it's not what loses him the championship tonight.
Yeah, we saw he had his head in his hands. I don't know if you were able to see it on the Skype camera, but I noticed it, and that's why I pulled it up. There you see Ashley Molino pulling into the pits right in front of him, but he had his head in his hands there right before I cut the screen to him, and this is going to be catastrophic for the 2 car.
I'm just going back to keep an eye on what it would have been. I can guarantee it right now. It would have been another speeding penalty. He came real hot onto pit road, locked up the tires on entry, and there is a caution. That is going to be really interesting at this particular moment. The 72 of Mason Flagar is the driver who is going to bring that out. Brett Guzik was the leader at the time of the caution, with Hart and Ferreira rounding off the top 3. But that is going to make it really interesting with the pit cycle. Nick Nickerson might get... no, he won't. He is 3 laps down. Won't even get his lap back as a result of said caution. This championship just got a lot more interesting.
Yeah, let's see what happened here. The 72 of Mason Flagar popping in and out of the screen just a little bit. Some internet connection issues possibly for the 72, but it looks like he just got loose and sideways on the back straightaway right there.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the information, Evan, on who left in the race is on what tires, but maybe Mason Flagar maybe hadn't just pitted yet, was trying to run along, or he was on newer tires that weren't up to temp yet. So many reasons for a driver to have oversteer here at a short track. But right now, Brett Guzik coming down pit road, so is Ricky Hart. Kevin Foster currently in 2nd position. He's not going to come into the pits, but remember, he pitted not too long back, so presumably going to be your race leader on the next restart, provided he doesn't come down pit road. Ferrara in the 13 car is down into the pits as well, so is Benny Hogan. Victor Weaver staying out. So those guys that you saw pit early race, maybe for a wreck like the 8 of Foster and the 23 of Weaver, are going to take over the lead here on this next restart. And as we've seen all season, it can be really interesting when guys on slightly older tires or with slightly damaged race cars try to take the lead here on a restart. It can cause some chaos. Of course, that's not what we're hoping for. But again, Nick Nickerson there, you see him just ahead of Kevin Foster. He's going to get a lap back, so because he's in front of the car that will take the lead on the restart, that's Kevin Foster, he'll get one of his laps back. But Nick Nickerson is currently 2 down, and it'll stay that way, even when he gets his pass around the pace car. So Nick currently sitting in 28th, currently with where Welch is, once we cycle at the pit stops, he is going to be just short of the amount needed to take the championship lead. So, gonna have to keep an eye on him. This is where Nick needs to prove his championship capabilities and really roll with the punches if he wants to take home the title. And I was kind of hoping he'd have some level of difficulty tonight, meaning that he couldn't just cakewalk his way to a title. But I wasn't exactly hoping for a speeding penalty. You got to feel for the number 2 car.
Yeah, this is gonna be really tough for Nick, but this is what Cody Welch needed. This is really his chance. This is his opportunity to win this championship tonight. Like we said, he's 20 points out. But a little bit of information on that accident that happened. Mason Flagar in the 72 car. He's in the pits right now repairing some damage, but before that, he did pit on lap 70. So when he spun, he was on newer tires. He had a 14-second stop on lap 70, so he was on newer tires, and obviously just a little bit of trouble with those newer tires, and it sent him around out of the turn on the back straightaway.
Yeah, certainly a mistake I've made this week in practice. Getting that car up to speed with those new tires, that's the opportunity when you have to run to the inside line. You got to start really pushing your apex to run quick lap times. But as a result, you just run that risk of going around there. Kevin Foster, you see, is going to be your race leader on this next restart. I think he's still got a little bit of cosmetic damage. The bodywork on that number 8 Ford Mustang just not looking quite right. But there is Kevin Foster right next to a good friend and possibly teammate there, I believe, Mr. Nick Nickerson, who is about to get the pass around the pace car. And as he watches him drive away, he knows that his good friend is going to have a considerably tougher time making his way to the championship tonight. But Nick is going to get a free spot with Mason Flagar, who just left the session. This has been a very long caution so far. The lights on the pace car still on, so our very own Tony Hilbrands, our race director, has extended it by a lap just because of some of the confusion getting cars back in the lead lap around the pace car. And that means that when we go green next time by, there will be 9 cars on the lead lap. Cody Welch, who again, in the championship battle tonight, got a huge blessing as a result of Nick Nickerson's troubles. He's not on the lead lap either. He's the lucky dog driver next time by, but he's still only in 10th spot. So those drivers like Ashley Mona, like Brett Guzik, that have shown speed and are on the lead lap, are definitely going to be the ones to watch for the race win right now. But Kevin Foster and Ricky Hart, that is a fun front row for the next restart, I got to say.
Yeah, this race, or that caution has just turned this race very interesting. Anytime you get a caution right in the middle of a pit cycle, it gets really interesting, and that's what you're seeing happen here. Kevin Foster last pitted on lap 49. He was only in for 9 seconds, so he couldn't have taken all 4 tires during that time. So either no tires and some damage repair, or 2 tires for the number 8 car, but we're going to find out as Kevin Foster leads us to green here with Ricky Hart Jr. to his outside, 81 laps down out of 200. Here at Richmond, the pace car is off, and so is Kevin Foster with Ricky Hart Jr. to his outside, diving down into turn 1.
Diving indeed, both guys really late on the brakes into turn number 1. Benny Hogan not too far behind either, but Ricky Hart, much better momentum off of turn number 2, so he is going to take the provisional lead right now. Trey Ellis, I think, in the background, getting a little bit loose off of the corner. I don't believe that was contact, just not quite up to speed with the grip that he needed there. Keep an eye on Cody Welch and Davey Hendrick. Davey Hendricks just passed Cody Welch there for position for 10th, but those two guys are a lap down, so the leader on the next lap off the lead lap is the lucky dog driver, and that is going to be so crucial tonight to make your way back onto the lead lap. So that battle between the 21 and the 85 going to be crucial, especially in the short burst if we get another caution in the near future. Kevin Foster gets into the front of the 21 of Hendricks. Hendricks trying to get by the former race restart leader there that last time by of Kevin Foster, who as a result of old tires appears to be moving back, but that's going to give Cody Welch the opportunity he needed there with that pick. Now he's side by side with the 13 of Ferrara, and you got to think with how quick Cody was just a moment ago, he's going to continue to move forward with that momentum, now getting by the 13 of Ferrara, actually third place proper in tonight's race order right now. He's currently having a great run for himself. Benny Hogan about half a second up the road there from Cody Welch. So you got to think Cody going to do his very best to make quick work of these guys, get back in the lead lap proper. But there's the 6 of Gary right there. Considerable front splitter damage. No caution as of yet on my screen. But you got to think that's one of those wrecks that's going to have to either be a pit stop or one of those ones that might cause some chaos when you're trying to get by lap traffic as a leader. This is the 4 and the 8 car. Kevin Foster on old tires there, just having trouble keeping up with the leaders here. More and more guys getting by him. The 23 of Weaver and the 4 car of Ellis and the 8 of Foster all getting by. The 4 car lap down, the rest not. So great battles throughout the field. But Kevin Foster, after the tough race he's had, multiple wrecks, still to be up there in 5th, just shows you how chaotic that last caution was.
Yeah, it really is chaotic, and here's to the 85 car of Cody Welch as he comes up on the back of the 88 car of Benny Hogan. Cody Welch is sitting in the lucky dog spot right now. The first car 1 lap down, but he's going to look to try and take that lap back himself, but he's going to have to hunt down Ricky Hart Jr. to do it. Currently, Ricky Hart Jr. leading tonight's race, and of course, the highest driver in your championship hunt. But no matter what, he is mathematically eliminated from winning the championship. It's Ricky Hart Jr.'s up front. Cody Welch, the 85 car, sitting in 10th, trying to get his lap back right now. Benjamin Lacey in the 7. He's also 1 lap down. He's sitting in 12th position right now. There's only Davey Hendricks between Cody Welch and Benjamin Lacey, as you see he's battling with the 13 car of Christopher Ferrara, who is in 3rd position right now on the lead lap. And then your other playoff driver is, of course, Nick Nickerson, who is the first driver 2 laps down, all the way back in 25th position.
Yeah, Nick really is going to need a long green flag run here to just get by some cars, get a lap back like the proper way, and then after that, if he can get a caution, can do it all over again to try to become the lucky dog driver. That's probably his best shot tonight. With only 110 laps is a long time, but maybe not enough to make up 2 whole laps, so Nick is going to be doing whatever he can. This is the battle right now between Bivens and Guzik there. This is for, I believe, provisionally 8th spot. Somebody up front, Connor Sawyer, getting loose there mid straightaway. I don't know if there was contact there between himself and the 70 of Trickle, but whatever it may be, a great save by the 3 car Sawyer to keep it on track. That may give Bivens the opportunity he needs for the top line to get another spot. Mark Allen Bivens has been doing pretty well for himself tonight, but the guy I'm watching for here is Brett Guzik, second to last driver there on the lead lap. But again, I think he's on an alternate tire strategy, so he just really wants to run here on the lead lap, go as long as he can before his next pit stop, and then from there maybe go with newer tires than the rest of the field there on that last stop, try to get win number 1 on the season.
Yeah, Brett Guzik doing a good job to hang in. He's really just trying to stay out of trouble, as we've seen the 3 and the 76 and the 70 all involved in some accidents today, hoping that there's not any more. Brett Guzik is, but to his inside now, he has the 84 car of David Leakey. David Leakey is 1 lap behind Brett, down in 22nd position. But up front, still... Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just about to talk about somebody else. But yeah, Ricky Hart as well. Definitely a guy we got to point out, because 3.4 seconds clear of Benny Hogan. We've only had a 15 lap stint right now, and Ricky is just showing that pace. And we talked about a moment ago, he's ineligible for the championship. He's just too far back with how many drivers we had tonight, is unable to make up that gap. But man, you're defending champion of the Bandit Racing League. He was the season 7 champion. Of course, not in the Xfinity cars, but he's shown pace all year. He had a win at Atlanta earlier in the season. He's had, just so many good runs all throughout the year. He's got 11 top 5s for a reason. What a driver he is. So deserving to be here in the championship for. And I mean, if he can't win the championship, if he can't go back to back as a defending champion, what more special way to end off the year than with a win? Just to prove to everybody you're still here. You'll still be a force in the trucks. There's the 70 again. Chris Trickle, I should say, has not had the warm welcome. It like goes out in front of traffic there, as the 98 of James Hartley there didn't know if he'd be able to make the race, but that is not the luck he was hoping for when he finally made it in. The 70 of Trickle on his roof, gonna have to jump back to the pits. And Chris Trickle, poor guy, making his debut in tonight's race. I know so many guys were excited to see him making his way into the driver lineup this year, but he has not had the race, the start to his career here in the Bandit Racing League he would have liked, and that looks to me like just a little bit of slightly neutral contact there from himself into the 76 of Mark Allen Bivens there. And then, of course, backing out, trying to get up to speed. The 98 of James Hartley just absolutely clotheslining him on the backstretch.
Yeah, here we're going to watch along from James Hartley. And really nowhere for him to go as Chris Trickle backing out, just trying to get rejoined up.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely respect a guy trying to get it back up to speed as quick as he can, but just one of those kind of unwritten rules, well, occasionally written rules in racing. I understand, would have been frustrated there. That contact there from Bivens just kind of washed up on an older set of tires. I definitely understand that happening. But yeah, poor James Hartley did his very best to get underneath him there to avoid. But yeah, really, as a track is as thin as Richmond comparatively to a lot of others, just there's no room for error there, especially going as quick as James would have been as the caution would have just come out. It's just one of those racing deals, but a pretty good green flag run to that point. It's just a shame to see it end that way.
Yeah, and Ashley Molyneux, Brett Guzik, Steve Ulrich, Davey Hendricks, Benjamin Lacey coming in to the pits, I believe.
Yeah, and that should just be for fuel. On the tire stints, you'd probably be waiting a little bit longer to take your second set of tires. No, reasonably. I mean, about 50 laps, as I suggested earlier, is definitely the on average run. That way you can split your tire degradation up 4 separate stints. I don't know. Maybe the cautions are changing people's philosophies, because remember, Ashley Molyneux, I think, went about 70 to 75 laps there in her last stint. This time by going much shorter than that, only about 30 to 35 laps. I mean, Evan, you'll have the information on your side about the pit stop, so maybe you can let us know if that's more than likely tires or if that's fuel, because that'll definitely change the way that drivers approach the rest of the race, and it might give those guys like Ricky Hart, who are longer on tires and are still not pitting for the second time, might give them a better or worse chance at holding down the lead here.
Yeah, so Ashley Molyneux here in the 45 car, she pitted this time by in for 14 seconds, so 4 tires for the 45 car, also 4 tires for the 8 and the 04 of Kevin Foster and Brett Guzik, Steve Ulrich, Cody Welch, Trey Ellis, Eddie Hagee, Brandon Jackson. Oh, all those guys took 4 tires. Sorry, excuse me for 1 second. Kevin Foster, Brett Guzik, Steve Ulrich, Cody Welch all took 4 tires this time by, along with Ashley Molyneux, of course.
Yeah, I think Ashley's going to be scary here off the restart there. The 45 car on new tires led quite a number of laps tonight. I think would still be the current laps led leader, unless Ricky Hart would have just pipped her for it there in that last stint. So she is going to be definitely a force to be reckoned with. The 6 car of Gary Wright, who is still on the lead lap, but you see there that Texas Longhorns number 6 entry, a ton of front splitter damage to the point where I wouldn't say he actually has one. I think we're doubling up here. It would seem Ashley's trying to get to the inside of him, and yeah, we are. So getting ready to go there. I worry about Kevin Foster there, sitting right behind there in 6th, especially if the 6 car of Wright can't get up to speed, which not a fault of his own, but when you got a car that looks like that, you can only make assumptions. But Ricky Hart tonight, again, I just talked about a moment ago, it'd be great to see him end off his season with his 2nd win on the year, trying to back up his pace from last season and make a statement going forward into the trucks in season 9. But Benny Hogan as well had a really good season, had I believe a number of top 5s, and he's on the front row there to the inside, arguably the more ideal line if he can get a good jump. So keep an eye on the 88 car, but of course the 45 car of Molyneux as well called their shot on new tires. You can only assume, but green flag for the 7th time in tonight's event, or sorry, the 9th time I should say, 8th off a restart. And Ricky Hart there getting a great jump off the start. Ashley Molyneux, as I called, those guys on their tires not quite up to snuff there on the restart. She's going to get by, jumped up to 3rd almost immediately. There is Brett Guzik, who I was just about to talk about a moment ago. And Nick Nickerson in behind. Look at the 2 car weaving through traffic. Again, trying to make his way through under green to get that lap back without the need for another caution. But side by side goes the 13 and the 4. The 04, I should say, and the 4 and that's the 25 of Steve Ulrich. Steve Ulrich on the back of the lead lap there, trying to battle with whoever he can to stay with those guys up ahead. And Brandon Jackson there as well is a lap down provisionally right now, but if he can catch up to Trey Ellis, who he's battling with side by side right now, he would become the new Lucky Dog driver.
Yeah, so many battles after that final restart there. You see the 99 and the 4 battling it out. Benny Hogan doing a good job to stay up front. Here you see Brett Guzik and Kevin Foster. Guzik up there on the top line, Kevin Foster down on the bottom in the 8 car. The battle for 3rd position, but up front, Ricky Hart Jr. directly behind him, though. The 45 car of Ashley Molyneux. Ricciard Jr. got new tires on lap 76. Molyneux, she got new tires on lap 97 this last pit stop. So there you see her to the inside lane, and new leader, the 45 car of Ashley Molyneux.
Honestly, I like that move there from Ricky Hart. He knows he doesn't have the tires to compete with somebody who just pitted and is as fast as Ashley, and if he was really going to battle there, might have put himself at risk of burning up his tires more than he needed to. So thinking about the long run is your defending series champion until tomorrow. And there's the 21 car of Davey Hendricks again. He's been quick all night, but he's one of those drivers on the lead lap trying to become the lucky dog driver, essentially battling Brandon Jackson. The 7 car of Benjamin Lacey, a nice deep send there into turn number 1. We've seen plenty of those tonight. He is going to get the pass done provisionally, and I think the 94 car of Eddie Haggy the 97, I should say, might serve as a pick on whoever gets by this battle. Just so much traffic on so many different laps. As a driver trying to battle for a proper position, this would not be easy, but there is the 97 of Haggy. He is currently side-by-side, or was side-by-side with Christopher Ferrara, now getting by, and so is the 7 car, trying to maybe move him out of the way with the bumper, trying to peek his way out. Now, again, side-by-side, the 21 and the 7 car. Hendricks and Lacey battling for spots a lap down. Jason Greenwell gets in too deep on the brakes. And in turn number 3, he pushed up Davey Hendricks there to the outside, so the 21 car going to give him a shove back. Not happy with that from Greenwell. Didn't look like an intentional move, but Jason Greenwell there, one of the many drivers tonight that got a little bit on the brakes into these tough, tight corners at Richmond, and that is going to mess up Davey Hendricks' attempt to get back onto the lead lap under green.
Yeah, you know, tempers flare at short tracks, and there's the 21 car of Hendricks looking down to the inside. The 83 going to cut down across his nose, not let him have it as they head down into turn 3, now heading down into turn 1, and the 83 is going to have a considerable distance as the 13 of Christopher Ferrara is going to be between those guys. A little bit up front, though, Trey Ellis is going to be on the outside of the 7 car of Benjamin Lacey. Big send down into the corner for the 7 of Benjamin Lacey, one of our playoff contenders, and he is going to have that position up to 11th for Benjamin Lacey, our 3rd highest playoff driver. Ricciard Jr., meanwhile, has fallen all the way down to 4th position. Molyneux, Guzik, and Foster all in front of him. Ricciard Jr. sitting in 4th. Then we have Benjamin Lacey, Steve Ulrich, and Cody Welch, who is sitting currently in 7th position, right behind Eddie Haggy.
A real key battle just happened right now. Benjamin Lacey getting by Brandon Jackson there. You just saw him a moment ago getting by Trey Ellis to move up into 11th. Now he's up to 10th. And more important than just being in the top 10, Benjamin Lacey now becomes the new lucky dog driver if we get another caution. So the same way that Cody Welch just got on the lead lap a moment ago, the 7 is now that car with that opportunity. And seeing how close he was to Cody just a moment ago in their battle earlier in the race, you got to think he's going to have the pace to make some noise for the race lead and maybe even the race win, provided he gets a caution there. But great effort from the 7 car. Now battling with a driver making another great effort tonight, Steve Ulrich there, up to a season best 6th this late in the race, up 26 spots for the 25 car. What a night he's had.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show him on Skype since we never get the chance to. The driver of the 7 of Benjamin Lacey, that's what he looks like. 2 wins on the season and 10 top 5s. The California-based driver, like you said, sitting in the top 10 right now and moving his way up the leaderboards. He can't win our championship, but it is possible that he can get up to 2nd position, and he just wants to make sure that he doesn't lose 3rd where he's sitting right now. He doesn't want to fall back to 4th, so doing everything that he can and hoping to come out of Richmond with a win, gain as many points as he can tonight.
Yeah, certainly something to be said about beating the defending series champion. That's got to be one for the self-confidence there. But here is Jason Greenwell now. We saw a moment ago him and Davey Hendricks getting a little bit tangled, but they both since figured it out and got back up to speed. But here is Greenwell right on the back bumper of the 99 of Jackson. There's Cody Welch again. Not in a lap down anymore. Got his lap back as a result of the lucky dog, but he's going to want to get by this little battle as quick as he possibly can. But Brandon Jackson there, real high up in line in the 99 car. Didn't even look like he was trying to go for the inside line to defend. Gotta wonder, whoa, he's getting real loose there mid-straight. Looks like Brandon's having some trouble conserving those tires. Jason Greenwell again into turn number 3, sending it a little bit deep. Almost at risk there of collecting the 99 car, but both guys still running clean. And hopefully Brandon can get those tires figured out later in the run here before he has to pit for a new set.
Yeah, these guys racing really hard. The 99 up top, the 83 down low, and both of these guys, it's going to be the battle for 11th position. And behind them, you see the 85 car of Cody Welch, who is a lap ahead of these guys in 7th. So there you see him, the 85 car, Cody Welch, down to the inside of Brandon Jackson, to the inside of Greenwell.
Yeah, he's going to dice them up pretty quick. Again, new tires, and we've just seen how quick he's been on these longer runs. But Brandon Jackson, as a result, Maybe thought he might get the pick he needed to get by Greenwell, but just look at the slide he's getting off for turn number 2. The 99 car, again, he's done so well. It's what Brandon always does. He's action for a reason. He keeps the hands moving. He's so much fun to watch. But sometimes at these longer, fuel conservation, tire conservation based races, that isn't always his wheelhouse. And it's something that you can even see there, looking a little bit frustrated, trying to just get that car around and get things figured out. But, well, he's got 2 wins on the season for a reason. Keep an eye on Brandon as long as he's on the lead lap, or if he's anywhere close, to still be somewhat in contention. But right now, he's got a hand off the wheel. You can tell he's talking angrily, probably to his Twitch chat, but he is not looking happy so far in tonight's race. But again, currently sitting in that is 12th position, and that is nothing to be upset about this late in a race.
Yeah, you can always head over to his Twitch if you want to see a behind-the-scenes version of our races here. It's Street Boss 24 on Twitch. I would warn you that if you have young ears listening, you may not want to watch. It's probably not the most family-appropriate Twitch stream, but Brandon has a lot of fun over there nevertheless. A little bit further back, though, here you see the battle between the 97 car of Eddie Haggy and the 4 car of Trey Ellis. This is the battle for 14th position. Trey Ellis is going to occupy 14th right now. Eddie Haggy back in 15th.
Yeah, Trey Ellis right now, nothing really to worry about up front because Davey Hendricks, who is ahead of him, is pulled away quite considerably. So right now, the 4 cars' priorities are just trying to hold off Eddie Haggy until he gets either a caution or another green flag pit stop to take new tires. Trey Ellis, though, really good defensive attempts, though, going up and down, weaving, but in a fair way on the backstretch to just try to block off the 97's ideal entry or really give him any opportunity whatsoever. Not really a chance there for Eddie to make the move, and for right now, Trey Ellis going to continue to hold him off. But Christopher Ferrara there, you see in the background in the 13 car, who is on the lead lap, currently sits 8th in the race order, doing whatever he possibly can to make it by these lap cars, and that's a troublesome aspect that I think for a number of drivers in the lead lap right now is proving difficult, as we see the 21 car down the inside of the 99. Again, Brandon Jackson having trouble with grip there. That car looking really loose there in the later stages of this stint, so he's going to try to go to the top. Should get a better run here off the corner, but the 21 car of Hendricks is looking like he's got enough grip. Right as I say that, getting a little bit loose from his own right, so this could be a battle between 2 very loose race cars that could result in a little bit of chaos, or potentially, I hope not a serious collision. But for right now, still side by side as we cross for lap 124.
Yeah, these 2 really, really good drivers right here. The 21 car of Davey Hendricks down there on the bottom. The 99 car of Brandon Jackson up on the top. The Mustang and the Supra both racing for the 11th position right here. And there you see the 44 car of Cale Zook, who's going to be behind them. Cale Zook is a lap behind them in 23rd position. But he has newer tires than Brandon Jackson does. Jackson pitted on lap 72. Took tires then. Davey Hendricks, he pitted on lap 97, but he did not take tires. So presumably, Hendricks and Jackson both on a similar tire strategy as these guys race side by side. And Hendricks looks like he's going to be able to get the position up into 11th. Brandon Jackson down to 12th. And then Cale Zook in that 44 car, he's a lap behind him, but he does have newer tires. He's back in 23rd, and he's going to try and get by these guys that are a lap in front of him.
I just want to mention very quickly as well, when we watch these guys driving loose race cars like the 21 and the 99 on old tires, you can't really communicate to those of you at home how tough it is to keep the car under you through the corner exits when you get loose like that. Like when you see the back ends flick out, as we've seen a couple of times. I assure all of you, it is so hard to keep these cars under you this late in the tire run. And the fact that these guys are just sucking it up, dealing with those terrible tires, and continuing to chug along, waiting for a later pit stop to give them a better shot at the win, is truly a noble effort. And it's one that, again, is much tougher than it appears watching a broadcast at home. But here is Cody Welch, currently sitting 5th in the race order. He just a moment ago passed Nick Nickerson. Of course, Nick a couple laps down, but that's going to be one of those moments that if you're Nick Nickerson and you end up coming away from tonight not as the champion, as we've assumed for, well, it was a decent possibility for so long, that's one of those moments that's going to haunt you.
Yeah, it really is. Cody Welch right now sitting in 5th position. He's trying to make up the ground to Ricky Hart Jr., who's about 2 seconds, or he's about 7 seconds in front of him.
I mean, mean, Cody Welch, we've watched him all season here on this in-car camera, and it's been really interesting how he's progressed over time. He started off as somebody with, lots of hand movements, one of the more energetic drivers in the series in terms of how they race, similar to Brandon Jackson in that manner. And at some tracks, that's so crucial. It's such a good skill to have. You see there that triple monitor setup, the reason you can see a monitor peeking out there on the left side of his screen. And he's prepared. He's got a great setup, but he's looks more comfortable right now than he has all year. And what a time to do it. You saw in the front that there was a car around on the inside of turn number 2, and there's a reason for that. We have a second caution of the day, and that is once again going to make things very interesting. There's the 93 car, Valen Castle, who I assume as a result, Evan, is the driver that brought out that last caution.
I believe so. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened. We're going to be following along with the 93 of Alan Castle.
Yeah, simple as that. Just carried a little bit too much speed there in turn number 2. We've seen a couple guys having the lockups, even our best guys up there up front running as the leaders. So not an easy thing to do, especially if you were on newer tires. I think more than likely Alan would have pitted a couple laps ago to have such a considerable bit of oversteer like that. But speaking of pit stops, Ashley Molyneux down pit road, Brett Guzik down pit road, Foster, Hart, Welch, Ulrich, Ferrara, everybody on the lead lap coming into the pits. There is a good reason for it. This might be one of the last caution pit stops of the race potentially, so you're going to want to take tires as soon as you can. But Benjamin Lacey, as a result, there we go, of winning that battle there for the Lucky Dog spot, is going to get his lap back. So Benjamin Lacey in the 7 car going to be back up to the 8th spot, but more importantly on the lead lap next time by.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we'll talk about these pit stops here in a minute, but a couple of guys going to have internet issues forcing them to bow out of the race. It's Benny Hogan in the 88 car. We saw him have a great night. He was running up front, but unfortunately some internet issues. And also, if you're looking at the YouTube chat, some internet issues for David Leakey as well. And going to have to bow out of the race. And you really hate to see that. That's one of the things that is just one of the worst things about racing online, really, is something that's out of your control, like internet issues. We saw Ricky Hart Jr., one of the reasons that he's so far behind in points is he had a storm come through. It knocked out his power during the race. But real quick, let's talk about what's going on our pit strategy. So for your guys that were on the lead lap, everyone that was on the lead lap pitted. Ashley Molyneux is going to be the driver that got out quickest. She took 4 tires. So did Brett Guzik, so did Kevin Foster, so did everyone on the lead lap. So Molyneux, Guzik, Foster, Hart, Welch, Ulrich, Ferrara all took 4 tires. And coming out, Davey Hendricks. Benjamin Lacey's coming out right now. He also took 4 tires, sitting in 8th position. Davey Hendricks in the 9th position. He did not take tires. Or he is not pitted, actually, excuse me. Davey Hendricks in the 9th position has not pitted since lap 97, and he did not take tires then. So some fairly old tires on the 21 car sitting in 9th position. 1 lap down, though, Brandon Jackson. He's going to be your first driver 1 lap down, and he did come in and take tires. So did Greenwell, Ellis, Hunter Henry, Crockett, Gary Wright. And then the first car 2 laps down is going to be Nick Nickerson, who also came in and got tires. So did Breslin, Harkins, and most of the drivers on behind him.
But crucially for Nick, even if he's still 2 laps down, the most important thing is he's up to 16th. In any position he can salvage right now to bring him closer and closer to Cody Welch makes it more and more tough for Cody to take away the championship tonight, even with a win, which is not going to be easy. Ashley has proven to be a formidable opponent, and again, we keep bringing it up, but she did call it last week, and that is it's a bold thing to do, but she's backed it up tonight so far, so we'll see if she can continue to work on that, considerable lead she had early in the race. She's had to fight through some adversity, through some caution cycles to get back up there, but now going to be side by side with Brett Guzik on the restart. Now is her opportunity to try to extend that lead before somebody like a Cody Welch or a Ricky Hart, who's shown considerable pace tonight, has time to make their way back up to the front and battle for that win to end off the season, especially if you're Cody Welch trying to take valuable points away from Nick Nickerson.
Yeah, and the pace car is heading off lap 136 of 200, and we're going to be green here again at Richmond for championship night. The championship night 200. Ashley Molyneux is going to have the big jump out front. She's going to be to your lead. Brett Guzik and Kevin Foster We're going to be side-by-side battling for second position.
Yeah, Ricky Hart just close enough that I think through 3 on the top line might have that chance to get over top of him, but no, the tires just didn't grip properly. But the 8 cars are even worse. Kevin Foster, big slide there off the edge of 4, and caution again almost immediately on that run, but Brett Guzik came very close to making a move down into turn number 1 on the 45 car on Molyneux, so caution number 10 on the day. That's double digits, and here is a battle between Greenwell and the 99 car Jackson. But it was not a battle that caused the caution in the first place. There is Hunter Henry getting into the back of the 83 at Greenwell, and that was Trey Ellis there in the 4 car who got tangled as a result. Saw the 83 car at Greenwell going around on new tires and unfortunately reacted and did the exact same. So 2 guys, not as a result of contact, just as a result of, again, new tires at a very tight track here at Richmond, where you really got to put them through their paces early. And again, fan favorite Hunter Henry. It's unfortunate to see he was involved in that, but again, you only got 3 lanes here at Richmond, and when 2 of them are clogged with spinning cars and you're not in the other one, you don't really have much of a chance to do anything else. So unfortunate luck there, but that'll bring out another very crucial caution, and it's a shame to see the Bill Harkins delivery there with the lovely Evan Wall picture on the front. Actually got through it. Look at the front camera there. Yeah, it came to a stop. Made sure Greenwell wouldn't get into him, but yeah, I would have thought if he was in a similar situation to Hunter Henry, he was not coming out of that incident with your face there on the hood, Evan, not getting scuffed up, but he managed to do so. So Bill Harkins, good on you there with that awareness.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Bill. I appreciate you making sure that hood stays clean.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're gonna put it there, you can't get it all scuffed up.
Exactly. Ashley Molyneux going to be the driver up front. Kevin Foster, one of the drivers that decided to come down pit road. So did Davey Hendricks and Trey Ellis. Davey Hendricks in the pits right now, presumably going to be getting tires on his 21 M&M Supra. He is. But Ashley Molyneux out front, Brett Guzik in second, Ricky Hart Jr., Cody Welch, and Christopher Ferrara rounding out your top 5. Nick Nickerson in 16th position, the first driver 2 laps down.
So I'm going to take a quick moment here, just very quickly, as we see Brandon Jackson coming down onto pit road, and he just got onto the lead lap a moment ago. So here is his chance as the lucky dog driver to really prove himself and prove why he has 2 wins to his name on the season. But very quickly, for those of you just joining, we've had some new faces in the YouTube side of things in the last couple laps. Just to give you context for why a driver such as championship leader Nick Nickerson is currently sitting in the 16th spot. There's a very simple reason for that, and that is the chaos of Richmond, or more specifically in Nick's case, just caught up in everything happening, unfortunately, during a green flag pit stop. The assumption is that he got a speeding penalty for the 2nd week in a row, had one at Road America that cost him the win there, but still gave him 2nd. Tonight, especially on championship night, it's going to be a little bit more costly. That dropped him back 2 whole laps, and that's why he's sitting 2 laps down right now. So he hasn't struggled on pace. He was so quick there at the beginning, and he's been fighting like a madman, trying to make up spots again 2 laps down now. Maybe get a lap back under green. Speaking of under green, Brendan Jackson needs to get out of the pits or he's going to get lapped by the pace car. He does manage to do so, so he will stay as the 10th and final driver on the lead lap. But yes, Nick Nickerson in his battle for the championship tonight, a speeding penalty, definitely going to make his night a lot more chaotic and certainly a lot more stressful than he would have hoped. But Cody Welch, his championship adversary, the only guy left with the potential to beat him in the title, currently sitting up there in 4th, and he has been looking good tonight. Got his way back onto the lead lap and has already made up 5 spots since he made his way back onto said lead lap. So keep an eye on the 85 of Cody Welch. I know Ashley's the strong favorite. She was so confident last week, and she's coming off a race win. But man, Cody seems like that kind of guy, both with the importance of what tonight means to him as a driver in this series, and with the talent he's shown all season. 3 wins to his name. I don't think this night is over, Evan, and I'd imagine you can probably agree with me.
Yeah, I don't think it's over at all. Cody and Nick at this point have just as much a chance, one as the other, of winning the championship. Like we said, Cody was 20 points behind Nick, so it's a good little margin to make up, but Cody needs to get up here. I don't know if he's led a lap yet. That would definitely help. If he sets down a heater, gets the quickest lap of the race, that would help too. Any little point that he can get helps, but of course any position that he can get helps also. So as many positions as he can gain, and he just has to hope that the number 2 car of Nick Nickerson has some trouble getting through the field there in the back.
Here we are going green here for the 11th time tonight at Richmond, raced by Molyneux. A great jump, but an even better one from Ricky Hart. Look at the jump he got off the start there, right to the bottom on Brett Guzik, who just a moment ago seemed like a potential threat for the lead there. Almost made a move on Molyneux, but he did not get up to speed quick enough, and Ricky Hart almost took the opportunity there to make his way up to second. But the 04 going to shut the door here, and as we watch these two guys battle on side by side, all the while Cody Welch gets closer and closer there. And always the potential for him to make his way back up into the top 3. But Steve Ulrich there in the 25 car, one of the last drivers on the lead lap there, getting kind of tossed out there, got a little bit high up in the groove in turn number 4, it would seem. And that's going to let the 16 car slip by. That is the 16 of Spencer Breslin. But here's the battle. That's the 7 of Benjamin Lacey. Just got back onto the lead lap a few moments ago, getting by Christopher Ferrara. And there is Nick Nickerson, championship leader, 2 laps down. These are crucial positions for him to be making up. And there is one on Christopher Ferrara.
Yeah, Nick Nickerson doing a great job to work his way through the field, especially on a short track night like this. We've seen a good bit of accidents, and so far Nick hasn't had any happen near him, but it's 146 of 200, and you never know what could happen on a night like this as we have an accident yet again. Benny Hogan and David Leakey going to be involved, and it's going to bring out our 11th yellow of the night.
Yes, indeed. Just going to go back and check on that. It looks like another casualty of the backstretch. The backstretch tonight has been causing all sorts of chaos, and that was just a case of David Leakey a little bit too high there in the exit to turn number 2, getting caught in the kind of the kink in that backstretch wall. Looks like there's a little bit of a groove there where as he came through on exit, already a couple lanes too high there as he came through, maybe just on older tires or a little bit of confusion there. But yeah, just kind of checks up into that little bit of a, slit in the outside wall there off of turn number 2. Gets into that, and as a result, Benny Hogan nowhere to go. I believe this is off the front nose, I should say, of the 88 car of Benny Hogan. And out of nowhere, the 85 car, yeah, just bouncing off the outside wall. Nowhere for him to go there. And yet again, Evan, these poor cars tonight running your face there on the livery. It's I'm not going to chase anything, but it's starting to seem like a bad omen, and that is really unfortunate tonight in your final full-time broadcast.
It really is, because there are plenty of cars that are running it, and maybe they shouldn't have. Maybe that was some bad luck, but here you see Brandon Jackson coming down pit road. Kevin Foster heading out of pit road, only spent 5 seconds in his box. We'll see how long Brandon Jackson stays in his box, but it's going to be Ashley Molyneux. She is the driver out front in her 45 Ford machine. Brett Guzik, Cody Welch, Benjamin Lacey, and Christopher Ferrara, your top 5.
So I'm doing, well, we are here under caution, a little bit of point snooping. I was just checking the points format for this series to make sure that I was up to date with how the bonus points work. So for Cody Welch to make up the ground he needs on Mr. Nick Nickerson to win the title, so Nick is currently sitting in 16th. So in terms of just flat out points, he is 13 back of Cody, which would in turn mean that Cody would finish 7 behind Nick, and Nick would still take away the championship if the race ended right now. But we got to keep in mind the bonus points. I don't believe Nick had led a lap in the early portions of tonight's race. He came close. He was definitely in a battle with Ashley Molyneux, but I don't think he actually got to the front on a particular lap, which is going to take away one of those potential points. In terms of most laps led, both Ashley and Ricky tonight have been really solid and really consistent at certain stints of the race. So I think unless Cody really gets up there real soon and just rattles off some laps, maybe if he can get up there, it'd be close. I think if he can get up there right now and lead to the finish, that might be a bonus point for him. But really, if he can just settle for leading a lap, that is going to be very valuable. But really, at this point, he's 7 points down. He can get one for, leading a lap if Nick hasn't. But past that, he's either going to need to lead a whole bunch right now, or Nick is going to have another incident from 2 laps down that, based on where guys are 2 laps down right now, would potentially put him as far down as 20th, which would put him 17 points back of Cody, which would still give Nick the title. So Nick, with where he is right now, it's not going to be a glamorous finish to the season. You know he's going to have wanted more, but he's going to need a little bit more bad luck there to not come away as the champion. And it's also going to require Cody to really put in a performance here at the end worthy of a championship. So if he can get up to the front, if Nick can drop back to 20th, and Cody can get a leading lap bonus point, they would tie. And I don't know about you, Evan, but I don't know what the tiebreaker is. So that would be some post-race drama for you right there. But right now, Cody's just got to worry about tracking down that lady in front of him, the 45 of Ashley Molyneux. He's just got to keep an eye on that back bumper and find a way by sooner rather than later. Otherwise, that extra bonus point for most lap slide could be out of potential reasonability as well as leading a lap. So Cody, if you want to win the championship right now, my man, this is where you got to come up big and be clutch at the end of the season.
Yeah, this is still Nick's race to lose, and even if they tie, I would assume that Nick has that tiebreaker. He has more wins, more top fives, more top tens, more poles. He's had a great year, but the pace car is off, and Ashley Molyneux is leading us to green again. Brett Guzik is going to be behind her, and Cody Welch sending it deep down on the inside lane. It's going to be the 04 of Brett Guzik, side by side with the 85 of Cody Welch, fighting for second position.
Yeah, he must have been listening to me. That was a very aggressive send there to try to make up a spot off the very start of that restart. Still right behind the 04 Guzik, though. He's going to have a good run here through the trial with the 7-car Benjamin Lacey. I know if I'm Welch, I'm terrified of seeing that guy in my rearview mirror. They have had some great battles tonight, but right now, you don't want to get caught in a battle defending for position if you're Cody Welch. You want to be moving forward. And again, we're starting to settle in kind of a single file line here as we speak, but that's the 99 to Brandon Jackson. No caution, but one of your lead lap drivers, a guy who's been known for some bad luck this year, but also some wins off in the trial and not quite sure what would have caused that, but I'll go back and check very quickly.
Yeah, here you see the battle between Ricky Hart Jr. trying to get by the 13 car of Christopher Ferrara. Christopher is in 6th position. Ricky's in 7th. Ricky's looking to make the pass right there. Up in front, though, Ashley's still in the lead, but Brett Guzik is battling here with Cody Welch. All these guys really close together all the way back to 4th position of Benjamin Lacey. Cody Welch right on the bumper of Brett Guzik.
Looking back very quickly, it was just Brandon Jackson trying to avoid the 64 of Ricky Hart, who got in the outside wall through the trioval, went to react, swung it to the left, and unfortunately it meant that the car was not quite prepared on fairly new tires there to make that aggressive move in the trioval, so that sent him around there into the infield grass, but since got up to speed, and you could see the 64 Hart on an alternative tire strategy really having trouble keeping the car underneath him, as we've seen all night through many guys' various endeavors here in turn number 4. Guys just having a tough time keeping the car under him, so we'll see maybe a little bit of damage for Ricky Hart based on that pretty strong contact he took out of turn number 4. So maybe that's going to affect him long term. But there's Kevin Foster getting by Christopher Ferrara. Same with Nick Nickerson, the 13 car, but a half a lane too high there through the corner. And as you see here at Richmond, one little mistake like that can be so costly, down 3 spots from where he was just a moment ago as Christopher Ferrara.
Yeah, now let's take a look. Well, our 12th caution of the night has come out on lap 157 of 200, just here to make things a little bit more interesting.
Oh, absolutely. That is, every time one of these cautions happens, another driver gets back on the lead lap, and it's also going to save Brandon Jackson from potentially going a lap down if he had to pit for damages. But yeah, just very, very different races for these 4 gentlemen. Benjamin Lacey in the best spot of the non-playoff top 2 there, but Ricky not too far behind there. So both drivers on the bottom row there, definitely threats for the win. Cody Welch, probably the best chance of anybody on the screen, and what an important night it would be. And Nick Nickerson, not looking like his excited self he usually is, not looking as chipper as we often expect to see our championship points leader. But again, tonight, it's still his championship to lose. He's still got some spots he can afford to drop back, but if you're Nick, you don't want to make any more mistakes tonight, and I'm sure that is the only thing on his mind for the rest of tonight's race.
Yeah, coming down pit road this lap, though, Davey Hendricks will be pitting from 8th position. Christopher Ferrara pitting from 9th. Both of those guys gonna lose a couple of spots as they're both in their pit stall right now. Still not exactly sure what that caution was for, but it's gonna make things interesting here on lap 160 of 200.
I'll go back and see if I can report upon anything.
Yeah, Kevin Foster, he was on pit road for 5 seconds. Davey Hendricks, he was on pit road for 30 seconds. So Foster, assuming he just got filled up with fuel there. Davey Hendricks most likely got 4 tires. Hunter Henry, he's coming in as well. Or maybe not. I believe he was just faking it. Trey Ellis coming in. So is Gary Wright. Gary Wright in his pit box right now. Bill Harkins, Kel Zook, and Alan Castle all coming down pit road.
Yeah, once again, I have no idea. I can't see anything. I've looked from a number of drivers' perspectives. Just one of those phantom cautions that have become more and more common lately. They're kind of unfortunate. They only do nothing but pad the caution total. So hopefully that's the last of the night. But 40 laps to go, 1/5 of the race left at a short track like Richmond. not favorable, especially with how much this race is going to mean to some people. Cody is going to be at his most aggressive he's been all season, I would imagine. Ashley, a very quick driver there, who, if anything, is going to do her very best to just scoot away, try to prevent a battle with Cody Welch. But if he gets up there, I don't want to suggest that he would bump somebody out of his way if it meant potentially a championship. But if I'm Cody Welch, like, what do you have to lose at this point? So that sort of mindset, not only from him, but from many guys who are trying to end the season off the best way they possibly can. I'm going to say that's not the last caution of the night, but it is always a shame when they seem to happen for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, it definitely is a shame, but you know what? It's definitely going to make the end of tonight's race interesting. And like you said, I'm sure it's not going to be the last one here tonight. I'm sure there will be at least a couple more if I had to guess. Cautions breed cautions, and so does the end of the race. We're getting close to the end here, and guys, energies are just going to be ramping up. And I got to say, if I'm the driver of the 2-car Nick Nickerson, I'm feeling good because I know I got a nice little padding in the point standings, but he is not in a good spot on the track, to say the least. Being 2 laps down and having to work his way through all this lap traffic is not the place that you want to be, whether you have a padding on the points lead or not. You never want to be that driver that's stuck back in the middle of the pack and having to work your way through, because that's where all the accidents happen. You see, the best drivers are the ones that are up front, and they're most likely going to race the cleanest. And if you get there in the back, especially if you're a driver like Nick Nickerson, who really has spent most of his time up front all season, he hasn't raced with these guys, it's going to be tough for him. But the pace car is off, getting ready to go green again. Ashley Molyneux, again, leading us to green here. Brett Guzik on the outside, Cody Welch on the inside.
He is indeed. We've seen this a couple times from Cody Welch there on these sends in a turn number 1. Caution immediately comes out. That is number 13. Unlucky number 13. Probably the quickest of the night, though we did have a pretty quick one off of a previous restart. And there is another driver getting the lucky pass back onto the lead lap. And one very important thing I didn't quite get the chance to mention, we get 4 more cautions and Nick Nickerson is back on the lead lap without the need to pass anybody. So that's what he wants to see if he wants to hold on to the championship. And there is caution number 13 of the night. Let's see what happened there. Jason Greenwell was considerably off the pace. He's the first car that jumps out to me. But I don't know what aspect of that would have brought out a caution. There might be something we're missing there. So here's a 3 wide. Steve Ulrich in the middle off the restart there. Both Greenwell and Jackson trying to get around. There it is. So Greenwell up top gets piled into kind of by the 25 of Ulrich, who washes up in 1. Then it's the 13 of Ferrara getting into the side of him. Nowhere really for the 13 to go. And yeah, a very brief incident, one that got itself worked out, but unfortunately iRacing calls cautions based on kind of the trajectory of cars, and the 83 at Greenwell was looking sideways. Good to see, though, for the most part, those guys that were a little bit further back in the pack, like the Trey Ellis's of the world, and the Bill Harkins, who have had a pretty good race so far tonight, are going to keep it on track and continue to run the rest of the race, because it's always a shame to see guys unable to finish off the final race of the year, and definitely a shout out to the guys like I see Mark Allen Bivens there in the chat, Aiden Kaiser, a few others, those guys in the chat there that ran in tonight's race. It's a real shame you guys weren't able to finish it off, but really appreciate you guys coming up here in the broadcast side of things to, of course, see who wins the championship, because I'd imagine as a driver, you guys have more interest than anybody, except, maybe the many fans of Cody Welch, who I'm sure are really hoping for him to get a longer green flag run, because as we've seen a couple times, Cody Welch is, if he can really get some time there to make his magic. Again, I have that weird feeling. We didn't talk about pre-race 7, who was our pick to win. Something's telling me Cody Welch. I have that feeling he's hungry for it. He's going to do whatever he can, and whether it ends in a championship or not, what a way to end the season it would be to take away his 4th win of the year and really cement himself as one of the series' best.
Yeah, that would be a perfect end of the season if Cody could work his way up here, get the win tonight here on championship night at Richmond. Whether it won him the championship or not, that would just be an amazing win for the driver of that 85 car, and he's hoping that he can do it. But he has some fast drivers in front of him, both Ashley and Brett. 2 really fast cars, and he's got fast cars behind him too. That 7 of Benjamin Lacey and that 64 Ricky Hart Jr. Those are 2 guys that want to show that they're still in this championship battle, even though it's mathematically impossible for them to win the championship. Those guys, they still want to get up here. They want to win this race, and they want to show it that they deserve to be in this championship 4, because they definitely did. All these guys had some really good seasons. Cody Welch, 3 wins on the year, 10 top 5s. If we go look at Nick Nickerson's standings, sitting in 14th position right now, he has 7 wins on the year. He's looking to make this 8 wins and 13 top 5s. The 34-year-old from Phoenix, Arizona has.
You know, the one thing that really stands out to me when I look at the top 5, I look at the top 10, or I look at the entire lineup as a whole, we have so much talent in this Bandit Racing League series. So many guys that have racked up top 5s, racked up podiums, racked up wins throughout the course of the year. And of course, guys like Nick, like Cody, like Ricky, like Benjamin, they are the best and brightest. They're the guys that have proven for the longest period of time they have what it takes to win races consistently. But between Ashley really showing up late in the season, Davey Hendricks got a win in very few attempts, Brandon Jackson, Nick Nickerson, of course, these sorts of guys. We just have so much talent in this series, and no matter who wins tonight, no matter who wins the championship, we are going to have an incredible Season 9. I can't wait to see some of these guys come back, as well as Curtis Yancey, who is always quick, who I assume is going to make his return next year. So get ready for that. I can't wait for Season 9. But right now, we got to finish up Season 8. Green flag for the 14th time in tonight's race. Cody Welch, again, going to look to the inside. The best run he's got all night. There he goes, the 85 of Cody Welch. There is the jump he needed, but Ashley Molyneux, pretty good jump in her own right there, is going to break away by about 2 car lengths off of turn number 2. Welch getting a little bit loose, but the 04 car almost in the outside wall. Cody Welch still to the inside. Probably the most crucial pass he's going to make all night.
Yeah, side by side, the 04 and the 85. Cody Welch as they cross the stripe. The 85 down to the inside. The 04 up to his outside, diving down into turn 1. Still side by side. Neither car budging. Right behind him, the 7 car of Benjamin Lacey. He's sitting in 4th position and looking to pounce on whichever line is fastest, but he's not going to have a chance as the caution flag is going to fly again. The 14th caution, and that just gets the driver of the 2 car, Nick Nickerson, a little bit closer and a little bit closer back to the lead lap.
Yeah, very quietly, a couple drivers as well dipping off to the same lap as Nick Nickerson, giving him a couple more spots. Right now sitting in 14th is the number 2 car, but 3 wide was Nick just a moment ago. That could have ended horribly, but instead the wreck came right behind him. Eddie Haggy getting tapped there. I didn't quite see what car that was, but somebody getting in the left rear quarter panel there and sending the 97 car around. Relatively little damage, if any, so he'll get back up to speed. Another one of those cautions that was relatively inconsequential. But who was that in the background there? Relatively dark-colored entry.
Eddie Haggy and Cale Zook.
Yeah, that was another one of those deep sends on the brakes we've seen a couple times in turn 1, and luckily enough, most of the times we've seen that, it's been solo wrecks that have been guys going around there on the entry and exit of turn number 2, but instead this time it was a lockup leading to a multi-car wreck, and again, right, inconsequential. Everybody gets back up to speed. Nobody's going to be damaged as a result, but you hit it right on the head a moment ago there, Evan. That's another lap. Nick Nickerson gets closer to the win. Gary Wright will be this lap's lucky dog driver. He's going to go from the 1 lap down spot in 13th back up to the lead lap, and will now have the potential to fight for the top 10 once again. But Nick Nickerson, 2 more cautions in the final, probably give or take about 25 laps when we go green again. If he can get 2 cautions in 25 laps, he's back on the lead lap. And from there, I mean, the sky's the limit. He's our championship leader for a reason. And man, what a comeback it would be for Nick to even put himself in the top 10 at this point after the unfortunate error he made a little bit earlier that, well, for a lesser driver may have cost him the championship, but Nick has fought back valiantly, and though we may not have seen him much tonight, I can assure you in the background he's been doing some great pieces of driving there on his own right. So he's smiling for a reason, and even if he comes away tonight, don't let the 14th or wherever he may finish, fool you. This has been a championship drive deserving of somebody who could win the title tonight.
It really has. I feel like if Nick finishes where he is right now in just a couple of laps as our season winds down, you're going to look back and you're going to think, Nick finished all the way back in 14th, but if you really watch this race, you'll know that this drive was deserved of much more than 14th. He's driven his way back up from 2 laps down. It's been a great run so far, and he's hoping that it's just going to be enough to keep hold on that championship. But Cody Welch up in front of him, sitting in 3rd. He's hoping that he has the time, he has the green flag run. Looks like he may be coming down pit road, Cody Welch is, here on lap 174. Maybe not. Maybe he's just driving down low. I was trying to see, but we're on the back straightaway right now. But
you bring up a good point, though. If guys still have tires, might not be a bad idea to make this a pit lap.
It might not be a bad time. We're lap 174 of 200, and it's going to be interesting to see what guys do. Cody Welch, he's been on pit road 3 times today. So is Molyneux. So is Lacey. Brett Guzik has pitted 5 times. Brandon Jackson's pitted 5 times. Kevin Foster, he's had to come down pit road 11 times today. Easily the most out of anyone. Nick Nickerson, he's only pitted twice. Nickerson last pitted on lap 131, and he got tires that time. But Nickerson has pitted the least out of any driver, only coming down pit road 2 times.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be his issue there late in the race, is even if he gets his lap back, he gets the lucky dog, he gets a pit opportunity. But if he does take that pit stop, it's going to put him even further back in the line. So essentially he needs 3 cautions, which is easier said than done. He's going to have a long battle to the end here if he wants to just really solidify his championship hopes. But green flag for the 15th time in tonight's race. Ashley Molyneux, again, a good jump. Cody Welch not to the inside into turn number 1, noticeably different than his other approaches, but he went to the top side, got the slipstream, and now best chance he's had all raced for that second spot. Down to the inside, side by side with Guzik. Again, Guzik, much better run off the exit of the corner. Benjamin Lacey gets to the top. Now he's side by side with Welch. This has been a battle we've seen many times tonight, and it's not the time that Cody Welch wants to be dealing with Benjamin. It's Benjamin Lacey up to the top side by side again. Guzik comfortably clear of those 2 guys for second, and Ricky Hart not too far behind in 4th or 5th.
Yeah, your playoff drivers sitting 3, 4, 5. And then Nick Nickerson all the way back in 14th. The 85 car, Cody Welch, and the 7 car, Benjamin Lacey, running side by side with 24 laps to go here at Richmond. Ricky Hart Jr. sitting in that 5th position, looking to gain any points, any positions that he can. There you see Trey Ellis in the 4 car coming out of pit road. But the 85 car, Cody Welch, down on that yellow line, down on the inside lane, looking to gain as much ground as he can.
Again, still side by side, the 85 car doing a good job not to wash up into him to cause a wreck. That's the last thing he needs right now. But the 7 car Lacey shoving him so far down to the inside of the corner, giving him no space to operate in. And that is going to make it tough for the 85 not to have to whoa up real hard. And that was a great corner, actually. Perfect timing there on the lift, back on the gas. They are still side by side, and I assure you, this is much tougher from Cody Welch's perspective than it is from Lacey's. The caution comes out. I think Welch will have held him off into turn number 3 long enough that he gets that spot, and he will. So that was a crucial timing for that caution for Cody Welch. That is caution number 15 on the night. But more importantly, it should have given a lap back for Nick Nickerson. But on my screen, as far as it goes, Gary Wright just won a lap down in the 6 car, meaning there is one of Nick's wave rounds gone for the time being.
Oh, that's really unfortunate for Nick. The 6 car of Gary Wright going a lap down at just the unfortunate time, but a big accident here. A lot of drivers involved. Foster, Crockett, Ulrich, Sawyer, Harkins, Hogan, and Leakey all involved in this one. Let's see if we can see what happened. We're going to follow along with the 8 car of Kevin Foster. You see the smoke, and there's Hunter Henry as well. Of Kevin Foster and Hunter Henry both getting together, and then everyone piling in a short track like this, and a fairly narrow one at that. It's hard to see exactly what happened there. There you see the 10 car of Matt Crockett on the outside of the 2 of Nick Nickerson, and Nick Nickerson just barely avoiding that accident.
Man. Oh my god, just imagine in that brief moment what Nick Nickerson's heart rate went up to. If he got in that and he got wrecked, that would have put him down to 18th, putting him only 5 points clear of the title. That shot there, if we get a screenshot of him getting by Kevin Foster, would be a perfect encapsulation of what's made Nick Nickerson so good this season, even in the races he doesn't win, is his ability to just narrowly avoid these unfortunate events that may happen around him. So again, one more time, there's Foster getting tangled with Henry up ahead. You see Foster back up the track, and though it may not have looked quite as close, I assure you it was way too close for comfort from Nick's perspective. As a driver, those are the moments that really scare you, because it's so unpredictable where another car will go in a wreck like that. So, man, I'm glad Nick was able to avoid that, but I'm sure he wished that had gone a little bit of a different way. And there's Evan's face looking at the incident from a different perspective. Again, just so many guys getting tangled in that one, but that was kind of the big one of the night here at Richmond. Most of the wrecks tonight have been fairly small ones, only a couple cars, but that one certainly involving several drivers, and that's going to shake up the kind of mid-pack order a little bit here. Maybe one more time from Sawyer's perspective. That's Connor Sawyer there in the 3, and the 25 is Steve Ulrich. Both guys almost shot the gap. Looked like they were going to go too wide through the middle of a couple cars, but unfortunately, each got tangled by a respective driver, and the 3 backed into a car. I don't know if that was out of frustration or just out of a lack of general peripheral vision, but whatever it may be. Caution number 15, and wow, it's getting exciting. But if you're Nick Nickerson, you definitely wanted to be eligible for the lucky dog there.
Yeah, one thing that I think is just, we've seen a lot of these accidents, just guys not trying to race as hard as they can. We're getting to the end of the race. It's the end of the season. You've just really got to focus on your spatial awareness, as Brandon Jackson would say.
So I'm just gonna we've talked about it a couple times. I think we've suggested in the YouTube side of things a couple times throughout the season that those of you watching at home pick the winner. Of course, the lights in the pace car are off actually fairly quickly, so it's going to be 16 to go next time by. I'm just going to make this very quick, but not necessarily for tonight. We only have 2 guys that can win the championship tonight, but I'm going to kick it way down the road. Who do you guys at home on the YouTube side of things? Just throw a quick comment in the chat. Full name, first name, last name, doesn't matter. Throw a name. Who do you think will be the season 9 winner, a full 20 plus races from now in the next season of the Bandit Racing League? Anybody in this field, anybody joining in. Curtis Yancey's coming back. So many guys could do it. Possibly the final time this season was one door closes on this season. I want to open the one for next season. Who is your pick at home to win the next season, next time we're here at a championship race? But for now, we have a battle to settle. Ashley Molino came in for tires in that last pit stop cycle. So here we go. Brett Guzik, Cody Welch, side by side. A battle we've seen plenty of times tonight, but now from a different perspective. Ashley Molino right behind, 3 wide into turn number 1. The 45 car right to the yellow line. Maybe tires was the right call. Look at Ashley fly through the field.
Huge sin for the 40 of Ashley Molino. We saw her take tires. We saw Christopher Ferrara come in for fuel. We also saw Brandon Jackson, Ricky Hart Jr., and Matt Crockett all come in for tires. So keep an eye out for those guys. But let's look at Cody Welch as he battles with Brett Guzik. Brett Guzik is going to be your leader, the 85 car. Cody Welch sitting in second position right now. And Cody Welch is going to be doing everything that he can to get up there and lead a lap. He's going to have trouble, though. The 45 of Ashley Molino right on his rear bumper, eating his asphalt right behind him. In the third position is Ashley Molino. Cody Welch in second. Brett Guzik, your leader.
And that's the scary part if you're Welch, as they start to go side by side into turn number 1. Molino sending it underneath, just has unlimited grip at this point. Look at how that 45 car sticks to the inside. And the 7 is going to try to go with her. Here comes Benjamin Lacey on the inside into turn number 4. And Brandon Jackson, don't forget about him either. He's trying to go underneath as well. Every position Cody loses right now, his championship hopes slipping out of his grasp, and he knows that into the outside wall. Cody Welch, the momentum so crucial. It was going forward for so much of this race, and it is now going backwards. There's Ricky Hart getting by Davey Hendricks. Welch dropped down to 7th, and if he had another set, maybe tires was the right call right there, as we saw from Molino. But that's going to be the battle to watch. Ashley Molino right on the back bumper of the 04 car of Guzik for the race lead, and Guzik going to go to the top. Maybe the mistake that ends his race. There's hopes at the win, because here comes Ashley Molino right to the inside, tons of grip, and gets the pass done. New race leader once again, as she's done many times tonight and this season. Ashley Molino back to the point.
Yeah, Ashley Molino to the front. Brett Guzik right behind her. And Brandon Jackson battling with him for that second position right now. The 99 car going to go to the inside of the 04 of Brett Guzik.
Yes, indeed. Brandon Jackson, a very late race pickup here. He has been kind of quiet all night, was down a couple laps at certain points throughout tonight's event, but now finding his late race pace, as he's done so many times this season, gets by Guzik, who is still going to be able to hold down a podium spot. But Brandon Jackson, he's, again, good friends with Ashley Molino, I know firsthand, so these two guys have, well, practiced plenty of times throughout the season, so I'm sure they know each other's driving styles very well. But there is a little ways further back, Benjamin Lacey battling with Hendricks. This is for 5th in the last of the top 5 spots. There is Nick Nickerson, again, championship leader, would have just passed Cody Welch on track a moment ago. That's going to be one that Cody Welch remembers, just as Nick did earlier. But again, the 7 car doing a great job to hold off the 21. And just to update you on that battle up front, not much progress from the 99 of Jackson, still about 4/10 back for the lead. So right now, Ashley Molino, with 8 to go next time by, looking comfortable to go 2 for 2.
Yeah, now let's look at this battle back here between Connor Sawyer, Eddie Haggy, Spencer Breslin. All these guys really close together, battling for this position right here. Sawyer sitting in 13th. Eddie Hagge right in front of him in 12th.
Yeah, Connor Sawyer getting underneath there, and another guy that's had a very long race tonight, trying to battle with Eddie Hagge just to get any spots he can late in the race. These are the two guys that are behind Nick Nickerson on track, one of the last drivers left in the race that is a couple laps down, so they're doing whatever they can to get some valuable spots here to end off the season. Back up to this battle, that's Lacey and Hendricks right behind, trying to check who's behind Hendricks there. Cody Welch has, started to work things out, got his momentum back, trying to move forward again. If he can settle for any points to round off the season, I'm sure he'll appreciate that. If he can get back into the top 5, not a bad way to end it. But caution again, number 16 on the night, and that might force us into a season-ending green-white checkered. What a time to have a caution. That'll be exciting, but if you're Ashley Molina, who had just cleared Brandon by about 4/10 that last lap by, that was not what you wanted to see.
Yeah, 6 laps to go. Ashley Molino up front, Brandon Jackson in second, Brett Guzik, Ricky Hart Jr., and Benjamin Lacey are going to round out your top 5. Your championship contenders are going to be Cody Welch, the 85 car, in 7th position, and Nick Nickerson, your leader, in 11th position. That yellow flag, though, Cale Zook going to be the one involved, so let's see if we can figure out what happened.
There's the 44, the black and red entry of Cale Zook. There's the 16 car, Spencer Breslin. He kind of got sandwiched between the two. They were kind of playing monkey in the middle there, bouncing him back and forth mid-corner. He was getting into the back of Sawyer and the front nose of Spencer Breslin. So all that chaos in these cars later in a stint here at Richmond, which again has been proving a very tricky track through the corners here, is, well, that's another casualty. But again, one of those incidents that not a lot of long-term damage, just kind of a quick one, brought the caution out. And as I just said a moment ago, what a time to have one. It's going to be probably 3, more likely 2 laps to go until the finish. So maybe a green-white checkered. And man, if you're Ashley Molino, you called it last week. You seem so confident. Only fitting that she has to earn it here against Brandon Jackson, Ricky Hart, Benjamin Lacey, and Davey Hendricks.
Yeah, real quick, though, we're going to go back to not this past caution, but the one before that, that big caution that involved everybody. You see Kevin Foster and Hunter Henry right here. They bounce off of each other into the wall. They both go. But a little bit more happened after this caution was over. There you see the 8 car of Kevin Foster up in the air. Heavy damage for him. Heavy damage for Hunter Henry as well. Here you see the 8 car of Kevin Foster spinning around. And we're going to follow him as he comes up the track. Looking to catch up with the field and all the other drivers. And the result of this was that the driver of the 8 car, Kevin Foster, and Hunter Henry were both disqualified. Here you see the 8 car of Kevin Foster running into the back of Henry. Multiple times heading down to pit road. Weren't happy with each other.
It's too bad to see, especially to end off the year. I'm never a fan of the Kyle Busch-like antics there. So obviously reason to be upset, especially this late in the year. But I don't know. It's a shame. It's never what you want to see. I mean, tempers are going to flare, and if anything, that just means that the drivers care about these races as much as you and I do up here in the booth. But those are the ones that I don't always like to see. But again, relatively inconsequential. I think both guys did well. They're disqualified now, so there's consequences in that aspect. But for the rest of the field as a whole, luckily that was contained in itself. And I've certainly seen incidents of that where guys have tangled some others in their own personal disputes. So it's a shame to see, but again, nothing will change. And our real battle for both the race win and the championship, and the lights on the pace car are now off, possibly for the final time this year.
Yeah, 3 laps to go, and we've got a shootout to the end. If that last replay doesn't tell you that tempers are flaring here in Richmond, Virginia, I don't know what will. Ashley Molino's up front. Her good friend Brandon Jackson is right to her outside in the 99 car, sitting in second position, the second row being filled by Ricky Hart Jr. and Benjamin Lacey. Cody Welch in 8th, Nick Nickerson 1 lap down, the only driver 1 lap down, and in the lucky dog spot in 11th position. Pace car is off, though. We're getting ready to go green for possibly the final time with this season of the Bandit Racing League. Ashley Molino leading us to the stripe, and a big jump for the 45 of Ashley Molyneux. Brandon Jackson, the 99, is going to fall in behind her. The 64 car, Ricky Hart Jr. sitting in third. And the 7 of Benjamin Lacey is going to hold in fourth position. Look behind him, though, the 04 of Brett Guzik up to the outside lane, trying to get that working. But sideways,
Whoa.
the 04 of Brett Guzik. They're going to collect a couple of drivers. Eddie Hagge, Matt Crockett, Davey Hendricks.
Yeah, massive result from that collision. Plenty of contenders. Brett Guzik, Davey Hendricks, as you just said. Both names that I think could have competed for this win with a little bit longer stint. They are going to end their race, and not the way they would have liked. The 04 car gets loose out of corner number 4. That involves the 21 of Hendricks, who goes flipping over. Look at Matt Crockett's car. I've never seen an Xfinity car spin that many times at short track. He had a horrible ride as a result. Watch here. Matt Crockett gets hit by Breslin. Hagge gets hit by the 04, and then absolutely walloped by Spencer Breslin. Manages to stay on all fours somehow, but a huge wreck to end off this, almost the race. This came yards away from happening after Ashley Molyneux took the white flag, which would have ended the race at the next flag. But of course, well, by inches, Ashley had not made it to the flag when this came out. So we're going to have a second green-white checker attempt. This race is not over. But poor Brett Guzik, man, your pole sitter, such a solid performance from start to finish. Same with Davey Hendricks, as quick as he always is. And unfortunately, well, that's just the racing deal that can happen here at Richmond.
But what I think we have to keep an eye out for is the driver of that number 2 car and your current points leader. And he's showing you why he's your current points leader. Nick Nickerson is back on the lead lap, up to 9th position in the number 2 car. Bad news for Cody Welch now that Nick is back on the lead lap.
Yeah, man, the 2 car and Nick Nickerson, if you're Cody Welch tonight, 100 laps ago, this probably seemed like the best possible scenario. That was what he needed. We talked about all week. Cody just needed that opportunity for Nick to make some sort of mistake, to give him a chance, like a hope and heck of making up enough spots to close that gap. But Nick just, we've seen so many wrecks, 17 cautions tonight, and yet Nick was involved in none of them. And I think that skill, more so than pure race pace, more so than comfort with the car or track, that might be the thing that epitomizes what a championship driver in a series with this many cars at this many tough tracks needs to do. And Nick has done it tonight. So again, we only have 17 drivers, I think, left actively in tonight's event, maybe 18 with Jason Greenwell. It's essentially over. Nick just needs to finish off tonight's race, and we can almost call him the champion. But Cody Welch, man, did everything he had to tonight, did his very best. There were just some absolute top-tier drivers tonight that just barely had his number ahead of him. But yeah, what can you even say about Nick? The one night in the entirety of me covering this series that he's really faced true adversity, went full laps down, and he rolled with the punches, and here he is at the end of the year. Just absolute props to him. I know I'm heartbroken if I'm Cody Welch. 20 races is a very long time to come so close. But, man, we're not done yet. And I should point out very quickly, before we rate this off, Cody has taken new tires more recently than anybody in the top 5. Outside chance, 2 laps isn't a long time. But if the guy can at least put himself back in the podium, that would be a great way to end off the season as a consolation prize.
Yeah, Cody Welch took tires at lap 195. Nick Nickerson also took tires at lap 195. So these are going to be guys that you're going to want to keep an eye on. They're going to be the guys that you want to watch with 3 laps to go here at Richmond. But real quick, just a very interesting statistic that I want to point out on the season. Nick Nickerson has 43 incident points. Cody Welch has 106. Benjamin Lacey has 109. Ricky Hart Jr. also has 106. And those are the 4 least incident points of people who have done most of the races. But the pace car is off. We're going green for hopefully the final time here at Richmond. Ashley Molyneux to the lead. Brandon Jackson in second position. Ricky Hart Jr. diving down, trying to get that third position. But the 85 car, Cody Welch, is going to be on the inside of the 64 car. Ricky Hart Jr.
Out of turn number 3, yeah, Cody Welch, new tires, perfect time to find this pace. Brandon Jackson up ahead, almost loses it, gets real loose. White flag, the final lap in Season 8 of the Bandit Racing League. Ashley Molyneux got about 2 car lengths on Jackson, but we're side by side for third. Cody Welch, trying to end his season off on one of many podiums, clears the 85 car. So there is the podium. Brandon Jackson tried one more dive into turn number 3, won't do it. Molyneux called her shot last week, and she'll follow through. Wasn't easy, but comes home for the win. As she crosses the line, win number 2 back-to-back. Welch holds on for third, but Nick Nickerson for the 8th season of the Bandit Racing League in the Geezer Authentics Xfinity Series. It wasn't easy tonight, but he comes home 8th and is your series champion. Congratulations to Nick. Great on Cody for getting the podium. Brandon Jackson ends off his season in a great way, one of many podiums. And Ashley Molyneux gets win number 2 back-to-back and lives up to the pressure of calling the win. But Nick Nickerson, not the happiest we've seen him all year. Wasn't an easy night, but you can just kind of see the exhausted exasperation, the happiness to finally be done, and he is your series champion.
That is the face of a champion right now, and this race really shows you why he is this year's championship, or why he won this year's championship. Battling through so much adversity and coming back to finish 8th in the Sueño de Atzo Championship Night 200 here at Richmond.
There you go. Show a respect from Cody Welch there. Going to do some assisted burnouts with him there, and that's what you like to see. Just 2 guys that, you know, got to respect the heck out of each other for how much they've pushed each other this season. I know Nick is going to be thankful for Cody and everything he's done this year. An exceptional season by the 85 car, but I can tell you firsthand, championships aren't anything if it doesn't feel like you've earned it, if it doesn't feel like you've overcome some great talent to do what you do. And there you go. Here's the site. There's the thumbnail for this race going forward. Just great way to end off the season. Not the best assisted, like, facing each other burnout I've seen, but they've had 200 hard laps at a hard short track. I don't blame them at all. What a night. Hey, here's the race winner, Ashley Molyneux, coming in. Maybe we can make it a 3-way thing. Brandon Jackson's going to hop in here. We got 4 cars. I've never seen, like, a 4-way plus sign shaped burnout session, but we're doing something here. I don't know what the plan is, but what a fun way to end off the year.
They're going to try to get something working. Brandon Jackson's going to try to not stall in the middle of that. I'm sorry, I had to throw it in one more time. I love you, Brandon, but you like to stall the car a lot. But we're going to look at our race results tonight, where everybody ended up. Of course, Ashley Molyneux was your race winner. She's had 3 races on the year and now this is her 4th race on the year, and she's won 2 of them. She has a 50% win percentage. Great job from Ashley Molyneux winning tonight here at Richmond. Like you said, she called her shot and she delivered. Ashley Molyneux with the win. Brandon Jackson in the 99 car, spinning as he came across the line, but bringing home the number 99 in 2nd position. Then your best finishing championship contender was Cody Welch in the 85 car. Just wasn't enough to win the championship tonight. Cody Welch will finish 2nd in your championship standings, but 3rd tonight in the race results. Then Ricky Hart Jr. in the 64 car going to finish 4th. Davey Hendricks with a good finish to round out your top 5 here in the 21 car. Then Benjamin Lacey, who should finish 3rd in your championship points, brought his number 7 car home in 6th in your race results. Then Christopher Ferrara in the 13 car with a good night, coming home in 7th position. Nick Nickerson not having the night that he wanted, but he will be your championship winner, bringing the Arizona Motorsports number 2 car home in 8th position. Then Gary Wright, the last car on the lead lap in the 6 car, coming home in 9th position. A great run from Gary Wright to bring it home in 9th. And then to round out your top 10, the first driver off of the lead lap, and 2 laps down was the 10 car of Matt Crockett, the one that had the beautiful Evan Wall paint scheme.
Coming very close to making that top 10 you just mentioned, Connor Sawyer will come home in 11th. He had a pretty good season for himself so far. He's proven himself as a really good road course talent. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next season. Spencer Breslin, after that, was your pole sitter, I believe, for a race at Talladega. He's shown pace all season, and he's somebody to look out for, but he comes home in 12th tonight. Brett Guzik, after that, your pole sitter tonight, had such a good race, was 5 laps ago, was battling for the win. Unfortunately, that last caution put the kibosh in his hopes for the win there, as I like to use that word often. But 13th, not a bad spot. Brett is always a threat for the win. 4 poles on the season. What a year for Brett Guzek. Really looking to see what he does next year. He's one of those guys that I think can really compete late into a playoff for a championship, and looking forward to seeing how he does going forward. Eddie Haggy is going to come home in the 14th spot. Bill Harkins after that, our very own. You heard him pre-race, and he comes home in 15th in tonight's event. Gil Zook after that is going to come home in 16th, right ahead of Alan Castle, 8 laps down in 17th. Jason Greenwell, one of your final playoff drivers from the start of the season, to finish in tonight's event. He comes home in 18th. Charles A. Oberg after that, going to come home in 19th. And Steve Ulrich, who for a long period of this race was on the lead lap, unfortunately late in the race, disconnected, and he's only going to finish in 20th.
Starting off your 20s is going to be Trey Ellis, who is 32 laps down at the end of tonight's race. Then we have Benny Hogan, David Leakey, Aiden Kaiser, the 60A car. His first night here with the Bandit Racing League, and we hope to see him back next season. 25th is going to be James Hartley, followed by Mark Bivens. Victor Weaver, Chris Trickle coming home in 28th. The 70 car, 114 laps down. Unfortunately, a good bit of trouble for that 70 car. He's a driver that I was excited to see, but unfortunately wasn't able to keep it clean here tonight. 29th position is going to be Mason Flagar in the 79. Then Anthony Caetano, Thomas Finsler, Hunter Henry, and Kevin Foster are going to round out your finishing order. Hunter Henry and Kevin Foster down 27 laps, but scored in 32nd and 33rd because they were disqualified from tonight's event. So we're going to do this a little bit differently than normal. You know, we always interview the top 3, but instead of interviewing just the top 3 tonight, we're going to interview our top 3, and then we're going to interview our 4 final championship drivers. So normally we would start with third position, but third position was Cody Welch, who finished second in your championship standings. So instead of going ahead and pulling him down, we'll wait a minute and we'll go ahead and pull down Brandon Jackson, driver of the 99 car, who finished second today. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it down to Marshall, who is with Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, it's Marshall up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Hey, hi, how's it going?
Oh, it's going quite well. And I mean, hey, last race of the year wasn't an easy one. Plenty of cautions. It's not like guys didn't have their trouble tonight at Richmond, but you come home for second. And I think we can all agree, anybody that watches you at home, there's definitely a case to be made that in a slightly different point scheme, you would be here. You'd be battling for the win. And what a way to end off the season here tonight. You come home second, and early in the race, you qualified in second. Like, you proved that you had that flat-out pace early, but it wasn't an easy race. I know you were down a couple laps at one point. You had to fight your way back onto the lead lap, and from there you got back up to even in contention for the win, and by the end you were just flying. Would you say there's truth to the fact that you were kind of picking it up over the course of the race after the beginning, kind of plateaued in the middle, but you really found your stride there at the end?
Yeah, it was an interesting race from my point of view. Started out really good, and we had a lot of cautions at the start, and then right before green flag pit stops, somebody gave in the bumper, and that kind of set off my hot-headedness. And but we got to the green flag pit stops, everything went well, and then we had that caution come out in the middle of the cycles and really set me far back. And from that point on until about lap 150-ish, I was just trying to get back on the lead lap. It's so hard to get back on the lead lap here, especially with the way strategies are going and everything. And then at the end, man, I took tires when I thought it would be the good time to take them. And hell, I had speed for Ashley, so didn't really have enough laps to get up there and do something. But, well, after the race I had, after ending up backwards at one point, I'll take it.
No, absolutely. And I mean, Ashley showed more confidence than I've ever seen anybody in this series have last week. You knew she was going to be a tough competitor, and certainly she proved tonight why she had reason to be so comfortable last week. But I mean, tonight, again, as I just talked about, you were somebody that definitely could have been in contention for this championship if it fell just a slightly different way. Looking back on your season as a whole, particularly your playoffs here, what do you think going into next season, heading into the trucks for season 9? What aspect of your approach do you think you need to change, and what stuff do you think you've really succeeded at this season that you're going to keep going forward?
Yeah, the playoffs for me were very interesting. The regular season was really easy for me. And then as soon as the playoffs started, it's like almost every race I was playing catch up. And at Rockingham, I had to start from the back due to a penalty early from the previous week. And then I got speeding that day as well. So that really put me back in the championship. But I do feel like, the way things played out a little different, we had a little bit different of a points structure. I would have been probably still in the hunt, if not fighting for the win tonight. But it is what it is. And if anything I'm going to take for next season is stay out of like 10th on back. You got to stay inside the top 7 if you want to have a chance to do anything in any race. So, just try to stay up front. That's where I like to be, is where I'm home. That's my home. So want to stay up there and stay out of the back. When you go to the back, things go wrong.
Well, hopefully next season, we've been really building up the driver lineup recently. We have so many good guys now. I hope that kind of dynamic changes next year and maybe a bit more forgiving, the truck series rather than the very understeery Xfinity cars. So we'll see if there's any truth to that going forward. But yeah, Brandon, I think we can all agree at home, 2 wins on the year, even if it wasn't for the championship win tonight, even if second was just to end off your season in the best way possible. I know so many people have confidence in you for next year, including myself. So I look forward to you and all your Twitch viewers having many more podiums, many more wins next year in the trucks, and maybe putting it in this race again, having such a good performance, but maybe for the championship. And we've got a lot of guys we got to talk to. We've got a very packed post show, so unfortunately we're going to have to semi-wrap it up. But as we always do, you're here for a reason. You're finished second in a very chaotic, very difficult race. Any shout-outs, sponsors, anything like that you want to mention? Now is your time.
Hey, shout out to my Twitch. I don't have many viewers, so shout out to my Twitch. Anyway, good one to Ashley. She called her shot last week from what I heard, and hell, she did it. So I'll give her that. And shout out to all the league admins, Bill. We all did it's been a long season, and next season is gonna be even longer. So we got a lot of work to do. I gotta shout out my boy Evan. I see you over there. You being quiet. We're gonna miss you. I know you'll be here a lot, but we're gonna miss you week in and week out. We got a good old Canadian bacon right here to take your spot, so make sure you teach him well. And like I said, man, it's gonna be about a month off season, and I'm gonna be right back at it. So it's gonna be interesting. Good job to Nick for winning the season. He had a hell of a season. Just wish I was there to challenge him at the end of the season in the championship. So it is what it is. We'll come back next season, maybe even stronger. So I'll see y'all then.
Look forward to it, Brandon. And hey, you had Nick's number in individual races plenty of times this year. So take that away. You were one of the few guys that could beat the champion. So there you go. Something to work for. And it won't be next week. I know I always say I'll see you next week, but we will see you in about a month for the next season, Brandon. And until then, just have a great time. And I can't wait to see you back in the trucks.
See you, boys.
See ya.
Yeah, it was Brandon Jackson, the 99 car down by the river. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull in tonight's race winner, the driver of the 45, Ashley Molyneux. Ashley, this is Evan Wall up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do indeed have a copy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Happy. I'm also a little annoyed at the same time because I called my shot last week, right? Pole, lead the most laps, and win, and I botched qualifying.
You did, but you got the win tonight. That's what matters.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I want to ask you, you got the win tonight, and I know that you said that you love Richmond, but they did an update on Richmond. So how do you feel about how the car drives before and after the update? I asked the same thing to Cody before. Do you like how it drives before or after better? Are you happy about the update, or do you wish that they would have just held off a week or two?
Just before that quick, because I just want to say it before I forget everything else, because I'm a dumb idiot fool.
Go ahead.
Congratulations on Nick to winning the championship. He fought for that the entire season, and there was non-zero chance he could have lost it today, and he recovered very, very well and got it. But personally, with this track, I didn't really notice a difference. If you want me to be honest, it just drove like Richmond to me. Like, this has been my favorite track for years and years and years, and about the only difference that I noticed was the outside lanes didn't work quite as well. That also could have been the car and the setup, It might not have been exclusively the track. Overall, though, I loved it. I mean, I almost always love how this track drives, even if it's a little on the snug side. Even if it is a little bit tight, you always have to drive the car as if it's super loose. And that's really the only time I thrive on iRacing.
Well, hey, awesome. That sounds good. Whether you noticed a difference or not, you definitely got it to work. Obviously got it to work well. You finished up front and you had a great race. What was kind of going through your mind before you got the lead? I know it's a little while back that you have to think about, but what was your plan towards the start of the race to work your way up to the front? You obviously had confidence here at Richmond, but what was your plan at the beginning of the race to work your way up to the front and get that win that you knew that you wanted?
Just be patient, truthfully. Like, I knew that, realistically speaking, I didn't know how everyone else stacked up on the long run. And I still think Brett had more speed than me on long runs. He just kind of got wound up in some problems. Nick did too, but he also had his issues. But I knew that if I just kept it calm and kept in it, I would get up there eventually. And if not, I would at least be in the top 5 and have a shot at it. So there wasn't really a whole lot of concern there, or even more of a plan other than just not try to force issues. Be careful on lap cars. I knew strategy could bite me in the butt, but fortunately that ended up working out in favor. At the end of the race, though, I am furious about that last yellow because I was past that line. I feel like my whole car was past it, but it had to have just barely been close. And I mean, that's the thing that happens with iRacing sometimes. It happens in real life now and then too. You know, it's not that it hasn't happened, but man, I knew that there were some really, really fast people, namely Cody, who came in and had tires. So the second that happened, I was like, gotta cook the hell out of this on the restart and hope that I can just get away far enough for it to matter. And fortunately it did.
Well, you definitely did well. You did a great job here tonight, coming away with the win and coming away with your second win in your 4th start. Out of the 4 starts that you had, you finished 3rd, 7th, and then 2 wins in a row. I know that you didn't know for sure if you were going to be back here next season. Do you have any news for sure? Are you going to try and keep that? Those wins going?
Love to. Unfortunately, my work schedule is changing from this really stupid 4-on, 4-off crap that it currently is to being a fixed Monday to Thursday schedule with overtime on Fridays, which is better for like general life. But if I don't get a first shift position, which isn't exactly likely, I won't be able to run anything on Monday to Thursday anymore, which is this league too. There might be times that I have the odd Wednesday off, and I'll always run those days if I have the availability. And I'm talking with Bill to have some form of involvement outside of the racing standpoint too for next season, that I can still have like a hand in the league. So I've really enjoyed my time being here so far. Really enjoyed Bill. I love how the league is ran. Tony and I may have some personal issues, but if he's back as an admin next season, I think he's an extremely good admin. The league would be greatly benefited by him staying in that position. But if I can, I will. It doesn't look like it though, unfortunately. So if it doesn't work out, really couldn't have asked for much better of a send-off.
Yeah, you really couldn't have a win tonight and 2 wins in a row to finish off the season, even though you're only able to race 4 races with us. We all hope that you'll be back with us next year. We want to see you able to compete for a championship. And just one more question. If you are able to compete for a championship next year, we're going to be running the truck. So kind of a double part question, I guess. But we're going to be running the trucks. 1, how do you feel about the trucks? 2, I don't know if you've seen next year's schedule, but is there a track that you're really looking forward to on that schedule?
I can run next season. I'm not amazing with the trucks. Any 1.5-mile issue I have tends to just be exaggerated with them. However, looking at the schedule right now, if I can make the races, Knoxville, the road courses, and New Hampshire, I am so happy and also mad that I might not be able to run it, that a league is going to New Hampshire. That is my best oval. Like, bar none is my best oval. So it would have been great to be able to make that if I can, but Knoxville in particular. I love dirt racing. I love stock cars on dirt. That would be a very, very fun one to make if I'm capable of making it.
Well, hopefully you can make it. We're all hoping that you can make it, but that's going to do it for tonight's race. You obviously had a great run tonight. Came out with the win. Like I said, 2 wins in a row. And you've won before, so you know the deal. This is your time to shout out whoever you want, say whatever you want to say. This is your time here at the end of the race.
Shouting out you. I mean, obviously everyone's going to, but you've been great. I love the broadcasting you guys have done over the season, and you're gonna be missed next season for sure. Your voice will definitely be missed. Even races I won't run, if I can't run them, I'm gonna be watching all the replays of this stuff. Not hearing your voice up there is gonna be a weird one. So, thank you for all the broadcasting that you've done. You've been very, very, very good at it. I wish you the best with everything that you do in the future. Slap that little Evanwall Media E on the hood of my car, made like a little inverse paint scheme to kind of help with the send off on that as much as I could. But got to thank Bill for letting me run as well. Like I said, I'll always appreciate being let into a league close to the end of a season when I wasn't there the whole season. That's not something that happens much. So it was great to be able to do that. Everything here was fun while it lasted if I can't run next season. And yeah, congrats to Brandon. He did a great job with P2. Nick did an amazing job getting that championship. Yet again, very, very happy for him on that. And I'd also like to thank my mom. She's a lovely woman.
Awesome. Sounds good. And thank you so much. I'm glad that I can be here broadcasting. Glad that you like it. Glad that I can have someone that enjoys the broadcast. And I appreciate so much having so many people put their logos on the paint schemes tonight, especially the drivers like you that haven't been here the whole season. They haven't even been here for that many broadcasts. It really means a lot. So thank you, and great win tonight, and hopefully we can see you here next year or next season in about a month.
Open, and thank you.
All right, that was, of course, Ashley Molyneux, your race winner here tonight. Now I'm going to see if I can grab Mr. Ricky Hart Jr., who finished 4th in your point standings. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw it down to Marshall, who's with Ricky.
Oh, hey, Ricky, it's Marshall up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not too much. I understand tonight the unfortunate luck from a couple weeks ago. You had those internet troubles as a result of a storm. I think tonight, had those not happened, tonight would have been so much fun. It would have been so great to see a battle for the title, trying to defend the title back to back. But you did everything you had to do tonight, man. End off the season on a high, coming home 4th, just barely getting pipped out by Cody there on fresh tires. First of all, just talk us through that late race period. There were so many guys in contention for the win, so many fast cars. Do you have any regrets about the strategy? Do you think there was anything you could have changed there, or do you think that was everything you had on the table to end off the year?
No, I think that was everything I had. Right there on that last restart, somebody started yelling like, something's going on. And I immediately went from looking in front of me to looking in the mirror. And as soon as I did that, I gave up the bottom and I went to the high side. And then who was that? Cody got his run underneath me and he set sail. He was on fresher tires, so there was nothing I could do. I really wanted that podium so that I could talk to you guys, but hey, here we are. So I'm going to let bygones be bygones and call it a day. But no, strategy worked out great. Came in pit early. And then I was able to stay out there while everybody else went a lap down and kind of stay in the front. Anytime I had to pit, worst I was going to fall back was to 10th and just kind of work my way back up there. I had nothing for Ashley tonight. I don't think I had anything for Brandon. But towards the end, I knew I could stay up there and at least finish 3rd or 4th, and here we are coming home 4th.
So you mentioned some of those new names there. I mean, Ashley, obviously an incredible performance. To try to keep up with her at a track she was so confident about was always going to be a tough task. But with how many new names we have in the series, you finished just ahead of Davey Hendricks, who's been great in every performance he's had lately. More and more drivers starting to join as we go forward. So many of them are quick right off the bat. You were last year's champion. You were the defending champion. Of course, Nick has now become the most recent winner. But again, you made the Final Four. You were such a important figure in the series, undoubtedly one of the best. But now that you've looked back after a whole season since the title, with so many new faces here, how have all these new drivers changed the culture of this series and how the on-track product races? And do you think going into season 9, you're going to have to make any changes to your style to accommodate all these new drivers and how they race?
Season 9, I'm getting out of chat. I want to be in my own head. I think a lot of this season, I was conversating with a bunch of people, and we were doing a lot of talking behind the scenes while we were racing, and I think that kind of just set me astray. So, but all the names, I'm really enjoying racing up there with them. I'm really enjoying the conversations that we have before, after the race, during practice. I even enjoy the conversations we're having during the racing. I think it's just, you know, taking my focus away, and I think I need to get back to focus, get back into practices, and you know, just focus on what's important, winning the races and getting there at the end. I mean, fourth place in the championship isn't bad. I did have that struggle, like you were saying, but a lot of these new names are coming in and, you know, giving us a run for the money. I'm really excited looking to next season. I didn't like this car. This car was tight. I felt like at every single track. I know when we get back into the truck, it's going to be a lot looser and it's going to handle a lot different. And I think it's going to play into my wheelhouse. So I'm really looking forward to season 9. And you know, maybe I can go out there and show some of these new names who I am.
Well, yeah, you've proven in the past that you have that championship pedigree to take down anybody, especially late season. And yeah, if you didn't have those struggles there at Kansas, I think mathematically, if you'd finished where you were prior to that disconnection, you probably would have comfortably finished in third anyway. So it's just luck of the draw, unfortunately, just kind of the downsides of iRacing at times. But hopefully all that's figured out. Hopefully your local weather clears up, because if that's the only thing that keeping you out of the top 3 in the championship, then you're a darn good driver, especially in a car that you don't particularly like. So yeah, next season in trucks, you pretty much summed it up there. If it's a car you're more comfortable with, you're the defending champion, you finished objectively third in this car, you're going to be quick. And I can't wait to see you come back, Ricky, and really, you know, put down those top performances, get back in the groove of those wins again, and yeah, maybe take over the dominant role that Nick tried to have this season, and take it back for yourself. But you mentioned that you were hoping you were going to make it into the interview tonight, and I know that everybody's going to have something to say to end off the season. So now's your time. You know the spiel. You've been here many times, so here's your time to do whatever you want.
Yeah, first and foremost, congrats to Nick. He put up great numbers this season. He did a great job. Just an awesome job. He really limited his incidents, any of his on-track incidents that he had last season, and really came through and shined. Congrats to Ashley. That was spanked us tonight. Spanked us last week. It was a great job. I really hope we get to race with her next season. She put on a clinic. She just blew by me. To Evan Wall Media, he did an awesome job. I'm really looking forward to racing with you next season. Hopefully you're able to get out there and, you know, join us for a bunch of races. That'll be fun. And to you, Marshall, you do a great job up in the booth. I'm really excited to, you know, for what's to come. Really looking forward to this next season, and to be honest, kind of happy this season's behind us. I'm sick of this car. I'm ready to switch it up, go to something else. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
No, it's our pleasure. I know Evan absolutely appreciates it. I appreciate it so much, Ricky. It's been a pleasure to sub in with you guys. And again, it'll be just as much of a shame for me to see Evan go and to do this stuff on my own. But I assure you guys that the racing on track, that's going to be so much fun in the trucks, is going to have all the effort in the world behind it on my side to make it as good as possible. And yeah, same as you, Ricky. I can't wait to see Evan down there in the car. There's going to be some pressure, Evan. So I know you're listening to us. Come on. Let's see a good season from you next year. But thank you so much, Ricky. Again, enjoy your break. Got a couple weeks off. Get to prep for the trucks, and we'll see you for another championship attempt next season. And hopefully you can get back in the swing of things from the previous season to this one, and maybe we'll see you on the final interview of the season again next year.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, that was Marshall, of course, with Ricky Hart Jr. in the 64 car. And great to talk with him as always. I'll definitely try my best next season, but who knows? I'm definitely no championship contender. I'm going to be in the back half of the field, that is for sure. But now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can have a chat with Mr. Benjamin Lacey, who finished third in your point standings, 37 points behind the lead. Hey, this is Evan up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Good to talk to you here. We haven't talked to you too much this season, but you've put on a great year. You won at Auto Club, you won at Darlington, but out of that, you've done a great job without finishing necessarily in the top 3. You finished 3rd at Iowa and Daytona, 2nd at Atlanta, but lately you've had a 6th place, a 6th place, a 5th place, goodness, a 6th, 6th, 5th, 7th, then 18th at Talladega, but a plate track, 4th at Rockingham, 9th at Charlotte. You've had a great season, but you haven't been up there to the front. But nevertheless, a great job to stay in the playoffs so far without finishing in that top 3. That just really shows how consistent you are. I guess, what is it that makes you so consistent, and what are you going to try and work on and be better at next year in the Truck Series to kind of step your game up and hopefully make an even deeper run into the playoffs?
Yeah, consistency is a big key to just being successful at any league that you run or where you're at. If you can be consistent, you can usually have a pretty good shot at taking home the championship. It's just a matter of where you're going to finish and how the strength of the drivers in this league just has some really good drivers in it, with Cody and Nick. And Ricky as well, those top 4 guys there. So congrats to all of them. But yeah, I think for me, one of the big keys is just driving within what my limits are and keeping, the 4 tires underneath my car and not letting them slide out too much and limiting the incidents, because, if you get into an incident, it kind of puts you in the back of the pack, and then, you can have some other issues back there. So I think that's kind of one of the keys that pushed me where I was at, was just being able to be consistent and capable of what I'm driving and just staying within that limit. And obviously for next season, what I guess I'd like to do is just be able to push the limit a little bit more and get a little bit more speed, because guys like Cody or Nick, they can just kind of seem like have that consistency of riding on the limit the whole way through. So yeah, that's probably what I'll try to do next season, but time will tell.
Yeah, you definitely did a great job. You finished out with 109 incidents on the year, which was on par. It was on par with Ricky and Cody, those 4 of you guys that finished in that top little grouping. You did a great job of limiting your incidents down. But speaking of next year, of course, we're running the trucks, and I'm going to ask you the same thing that I ask some of our other drivers. How do you feel about the trucks? Are you excited about that?
They're yes and no. They're kind of fun to drive, but they're also kind of like just full throttle around some tracks, so it's kind of just really luck of the draw. Like some tracks, like I think Michigan's on the schedule. I think that one's going to be kind of almost like, Daytona and Talladega. It's going to be a lot of drafting and that type of thing again. So tire management's going to be super key in that. So we'll get to see some of the strengths come out there with some of the other drivers. But overall, I'm mixed on it, but it'll be fun out of the way. It's a good group of guys to ride with.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun group of guys here, and I'm glad that you're a part of it. And I'm happy to see you next season. Happy to see you racing, and hopefully you'll make just as deep of a run into the championship. But we have a busy post-race interview, so I'm not going to ask you too much. I'll just wait till next season when Marshall will be interviewing you. He can ask you the good questions next season. But now that we're getting towards the end, you know what time it is. You've won 2 races on the season. This is your time to say what you want to say. The final time for this season. Just think who you want to think. This is your time,
Yeah, first and foremost, Evan, we're going to miss you in the broadcast booth, but I understand you might be on the track with us a couple times, so it'll be fun to get to know you out there on the track a little bit too. So I appreciate everything that you've done. Marshall, you as well, man. Be looking forward to what you're going to do next season with the broadcast. So it'll be fun to watch. Looking forward to watching this one later tonight. And Bill, admins, everybody doing the league. It's been a lot of fun racing with you guys. Thanks for accepting me into the Bandit family. It's been fun. And congrats to Nick on the championship and Ashley on the win tonight.
Yes, sir. Congrats to all those guys, and congrats to you for having such a great season and finishing it off 3rd in the championships. But we will see you next season.
Thank you. See you guys.
All right, that was, of course, Benjamin Lacey. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw it down to Marshall, who's with Cody Welch.
Hey, Cody, it's Marshall from the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Oh man, that's so close. You did everything you had to do, man. That was one of the best races I've seen you have all season, and you did it at the perfect time. Unfortunately, Nick just managed to recover from some bad circumstances there early in the race. But speaking of, when you saw him have those issues, he had that speeding penalty earlier that almost cost him the championship. in that moment, was there anything in your head that got you a little bit worked up? Did you kind of get in your own head about, okay, this changes my whole situation? Or did you manage to calm yourself? Was it a pretty chill affair and you just kept plugging away at what you had to do?
All, all I could think of is, man, I got a chance at this. Let's run clean. Let's get up to the front. Let's do it. But of course, Nick, we were talking in this chat server, and congrats to him. He deserved this championship, 100%. He had like 4 mistakes the entire season, and it was just a little mistakes for me that kept me held back. But I can't say enough about his performance this season. It was just he deserves it, 100%. But it really didn't change how I was racing this race when he did have those mistakes. But I just tried to keep my nose clean and the tires under it like I always try to do. So.
Yeah, well, speaking of the tires, I mean, late race made the perfect call there to go for the win, to take the tires last of anybody. So with like 3 to go, managed to make up 2 spots there at the end, might have had the potential for more. First of all, talk us through that last little run. Did you expect to have those opportunities there that you did in the last couple laps? And do you think with a few more laps could have ended the season off on a win there?
Yeah, maybe with a few more laps, definitely. But on the restart before the last restart, I don't know what happened. I think I came off 2 sideways and it just killed my tires, and 5 or 6 cars got by me. I got into the wall a little bit, and then that last caution came out and I was able to pit, use my fast repair, and put a new set of tires on. And at the end, it just kind of worked out with Guzik getting loose coming out of 4 and sliding up and causing that last caution. I was able to get by those 2 and then make a couple more passes before the end of the race. So luck kind of played into that for me a little bit. And my fresh tires, it took me probably a better part of 50 laps just to figure out how to race this track after the update. Like I said, I was practicing before the update and I felt so fast, and the car just felt planted, and it was, I was really excited for this coming race. But after that update, I just couldn't figure it out. And it took me following the fast guys to get into a groove. And but yeah, like I said, luck a little bit at the end to come home third, and fresh tires, so it worked out.
I don't know about following the fast guys though. You've not only tonight, you proved at the end there you had the pace of anybody in the field, but all season you've been one of the fast guys. And again, if I had to like quantify what tiers of drivers there are in this series, those guys that can really compete with each other and are kind of in a tier of their own, you and Nick were back and forth all season. And so many tracks, I go back to Rockingham. You kind of epitomize for me that idea of that clutch driver that late in a race just does what they have to do, stays dialed in. It's whenever we go to your Skype channel and you just look locked in like nothing's happening. And it's like what we're seeing on the camera and what we're seeing on the track doesn't equal out. And that's such a mark of a good driver, and a driver that should be a champion in any other season if Nick hadn't just been knocking him off there early in the season. But overall, we go into next season in the trucks. It's going to be a whole new ballpark. I know it's one that a lot of drivers feel more comfortable with than the Xfinity cars, but when you look at this season in retrospect, you came so close within points, within positions of taking away the title here. Is there anything looking back that you regret you would have changed about your approach this year? And is there anything you're going to take into next season in the truck so that next time we talk to you in a broadcast at the end of a race, at the end of the season, you'll be the last one of the night?
Yeah, it boils down to minimizing the little mistakes. I feel like I had quite a bit of them this season. Just forgetting to uncheck tires on a pit stop, or sliding the tires a little bit off of a corner. Just tiny little things where I felt if I wouldn't have made those mistakes, I could be in that #1 spot. Whereas Nick didn't. He was just on point every race. Everyone's seen it. So definitely going into the next season, I got to focus on minimizing the little mistakes. I know I got the speed, and the pace is there. It's just those little mistakes that are holding me back. So.
Well, it says something that you came this close to the title with those, supposed mistakes, but you're still here, which means at your best, as you say, you can knock it out of the park on any given night. And that's what I love about it. You're so much fun to watch. And I can't wait to see you in the trucks next year. I said it all broadcast, but we've got so many good top guys in the season. And the fact that you've been able to show yourself above them at any given moment is so impressive. And I'm so excited. I wish you the best of luck going forward for next season. I know you'll be there every week and take what you've learned tonight and use it as fuel to go for the big prize next year. But to round it off, you have one of the biggest cheering sections of anybody, probably the biggest of anybody in the YouTube side of things. So if you have any people to thank at home, if you want to just, wrap up your season with some thoughts, or if you have any sponsors, as I always say, this is your time to end off the year, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to thank everybody that cheers me on, my family and friends that, they tune in every week. They're texting me, good luck tonight. They're into it just as much as I am. We all love racing and, we all love doing it. So definitely want to thank them. Bryce Lewis, my spotter, always on point. My girlfriend, of course, for, letting me get away with doing this all the time. You guys up in the booth. Thanks, Evan, for everything. Bill, Matt, guys at Bandit Racing League, you do a hell of a job, and I'm honored to be a part of this league. So, yeah, that's about it. We'll give her hell next season.
That is what I like to hear, man. And this league is better because you're in it, man. So the league doesn't know you anything, you don't know the league anything. It's the other way around. But just it's been so much fun, man. From the start of the season to now, I've seen you on track grow as a driver, and now you're a force to be reckoned with. So if you're gonna give them hell next year, I think those guys better watch out. So have a great rest of your month off. It's not just a week like usual, but you got a whole month to do something non-racing related, which I'm sure your girlfriend will appreciate. And then once we see you back on track, I know you'll give him hell, and I can't wait for it. So best of luck, Cody. We'll see you in a couple weeks, and I can't wait to be back calling the thing myself and having a driver as good as you pacing the field, which I hope to see.
Awesome, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, Marshall and Evan.
Yes, sir. Bill Harkins.
I kind of wanted to jump in there and give Cody his respects for the second place position there in the championship. But if you want to drop Nick in real quick, I'd like to congratulate him, then give you guys a quick word, and you guys can have him because I got to go to bed at 4:30 in the morning, and I got to be up for work. So,
all right, sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and pull in Nick Nickerson. Nick, you got a copy?
Man.
I believe Bill Harkins had something that he wanted to say, so go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Nick, absolutely, man. Congratulations. You deserve it. Hell of a driver. I don't know why one of the Cup teams haven't picked you up yet. You definitely deserved it. You've worked hard for it. You've had, awesome races, and then you've had just, fluke flaws that have held you back in the past, and you almost had that happen to you tonight.
I know, so close.
It was so close. And I could actually hear your breathing pick up. It was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, I was worried.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely something to worry about. But proud to have you as our champion. As you know, your number is now in our Hall of Fame. Your number is always your number. Even if you left me for 5 years and decided to come back, it's still your number.
Nice.
So you're locked into this league as long as you stay on good behavior. And, last year I did a big awards banquet for everybody. And, I did some awards and stuff. So just want you to know, keep an eye on the mail. You got a virtual $1 million check coming, It'll go with your, virtual championship. So hell of a job, man. Proud of you. And thank you. And I'm just going to say something real quick because, like I said, I need to get to bed, guys. Evan, I can't see you for some reason. I can't see you on Skype. But, man, awesome. I got to tell you, where we started, where we are today is because of you. With the broadcast that you started putting together, we got noticed. And a lot of people caught on to that. And then we just lucked in and got Marshall, when we did. So the way things have lined up in the broadcast side of things has just been phenomenal. I mean, I kind of pinch myself periodically because your broadcasts, I would put them up against anybody's broadcast for iRacing. And that's a compliment. And I've been in racing, I don't even want to say how long I've been around racing, but I've been around a long time. And it's a pleasure to have you here, and it's a pleasure that you've been here. And I'm glad that the guys showed their support that they did for you tonight, because that means a lot to me. So thank you, from the bottom of my heart. And, you've always got a spot here too until you get bad behavior, and then I got to throw you out. So.
Well, thank you, Bill. I really appreciate it. I remember I posted on Facebook saying that I was looking I was thinking about trying to broadcast. I'd never done anything before, and you reached out to me, and I'm glad you did. I'm glad that you let me broadcast. You took a chance on somebody that had only made one broadcast before, and I'm glad that I made what I did. And there are times I look back at it, and I see all the mistakes. I wish I could have made it better, but I think what I did was really good, and we kept getting better race after race, and it's only going to get better next season.
Oh my God,
with
we
Marshall.
put this together in less than 24 hours that time.
We did. It was an interesting first race. I don't recommend that you guys go watch it, but it's there on my YouTube channel if you want to.
So with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Marshall, hell of a job, man. Great season. Been awesome having you here.
Thank you, Bill.
You guys take care, and I will talk to y'all later.
Before you go, I do have to say, man, Bill, you do such an awesome job with this league.
Don't make me cry.
This is seriously the best racing league that I have ever been a part of. I put in the effort because it is just so enjoyable every single Wednesday. And hanging out with other guys, we have good laughs all the way until a couple hours late for going to bed. Look forward to every single Wednesday, and we usually hang out practices all throughout the week. I could definitely consider all you guys my good friends now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to doing this for many years to come.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. I'm going to get out of here before I tear up, so y'all peace out.
See you, Bill.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Yeah, Evan, man, I have to say, I remember when you first started broadcasting, when I was part of other leagues that are broadcasting, I was like, man, this is a little rough around the edges. But, how quickly you brought your broadcast up to, near professional level was, pretty amazing. Every time I watched it, I was like, damn, that's freaking pretty cool. And, look at it today, man. It's probably the best you can get out there.
I really appreciate that. It was put together quick, and I still I'm sure I'll go back and watch today's broadcast and find 5 or 10 things that I wish I could have done better, but still I think it's a great broadcast, and again, I really appreciate not just from you, Nick, but from all the drivers and everybody watching, all the support. And I know that Marshall is going to do just as good of a job next year, if not better. But now that we actually get into this interview, you're the Season 8 champion, had 7 wins on the year, 13 top 5s, 18 top 10s. You had 9 poles. You had an average start of 3rd and an average finish of 4th. But more importantly, or well, not more importantly, I guess, but more interestingly to me at least was tonight's race. So kind of walk us through what happened from beginning to end.
Man, I was feeling so good. I actually figured this track out probably 10 minutes to go in practice, and I've been working on it all week. And I messed up my qualifying, which I was like, that's cool. But I had a ton of speed in the race, and I ran out of fuel going into my pit stall. I ran out of fuel on the back straight going into the pits, and I didn't understand that. I don't know if something changed with the cars in this previous builds, but I ran out of fuel with 0.3 gallons left in the tank. And I'm pretty sure that I could have before we ran it to almost 0.1. So I ended up getting a 40-second speeding penalty because I had to blast through, the pit entrance to make it all the way to the end to my pit lane. And that set me back for pretty much the entire race. And I'm not going to lie, I was pretty sure I was going to lose the championship at that point, because when you're 28th place, 3 laps behind on a short track, how do you overcome that? And fortunately I did. Fortunately there's enough cautions. But, that was my race. I wish I could have finished this with more spectacular racing. But, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I think there was enough spectacular racing to go around from a lot of the guys up front, but you did a great job, and you really proved why you were this season's champion. But moving on to next season, we're running in the trucks. I don't know if I've asked you this before, but how do you feel about running the trucks next season, and what track specifically are you looking forward to?
I ran a couple in the official, but I haven't ran the trucks in, I want to say over a year. Whenever Bandit last ran the trucks, I think is when I ran them. And, they could be substantially different now. I am kind of looking forward to it because I think it's going to equalize a lot. I think there's a lot more on throttle, less brake performance going in the corners than say the Xfinity car. So I think it'll kind of equalize more drivers, more people will be able to battle wheel to wheel in the Xfinity car. As far as a track that I'm looking forward to, man, I don't know. I mean, everything's kind of going to be foreign, pretty much. I guess the road courses.
Yeah, I don't mean to consider you a road course ringer, because you're really not. You're one of the best all-around drivers that I've ever seen. But at the road courses that we do go to, we go to Road America and we go to Watkins Glen. And at least in the past 2 seasons that I've been broadcasting, we haven't been to Watkins Glen. How do you feel about that track? And we've raced Road America. Are you excited to get another chance there and try and get a win there this time?
I would definitely like some redemption for what happened to me last week. Yeah, that's going forward. Looking forward to that for sure. Watkins Glen, that's a fast track. I mean, I really like that. There's only a couple like really strong break points. I guess it's turn 1 and maybe the bus stop, and so I think that's going to be a good track for most people. Going up to those, we're going to try to help out more people get a better understanding of how to drive these stock cars on the road course. So hopefully we'll get obviously a lot better racing than we have. Yeah, I mean, well, is it just 2 road courses next season?
Yeah, I believe that's it. Oh, Daytona road course as well.
Daytona Road, yeah. Looking forward to that one. That's a fun one. I like that one. But we'll see. I mean, they're probably going to drive a lot different than these Xfinity cars for sure. We'll see.
Wait, you've got a lot to look forward to and a lot of momentum to carry over to next season. Like I said, an average finish of 4th is just incredible, and 48 incidents on the whole season. Your other competitors that were racing for the championship, none of them had below 100. I believe it was 106, 206, and maybe 107, and you finished out the season with only 48 incidents. So a great job, a great all-around season from you, and tonight really showed why you were the champion, battling back from adversity. You did a great job.
Thanks, man.
So this is your time. We've had a long enough post-race interview, and we're going to talk, or Marshall's going to talk to you plenty next season.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and cut it short now, because you get plenty of interview time, but we've talked to you plenty enough times that this is your time. Say who you want to say, shout out who you want to shout out, sponsors, family, whatever.
Yeah, man, I have to thank everybody that participates in this league. It's such an awesome league now, and I'm really looking forward to next season with the trucks. And it was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning, but I think we're getting a better and better product as the races go on. And I think with the trucks, it's going to be even better because they're a little bit easier to drive. And I have to give a shout out to Cody, man. Yeah, he did such an awesome job in the position that he was in to push as hard as he can every single race, and he did just that, man. I never once felt comfortable going into the next race. I was always like, man, if I mess up once, dude, I'm going to be behind. And he put the pressure on the best that he could, and he just did an awesome job, man. And Evan, you did such an awesome job broadcasting this past 2 seasons that it kind of sucks that you're going to be not the broadcaster for Bandit, but looking forward to racing with you, looking forward to seeing you a couple times throughout the season, and have no doubts that Marshall is going to do such an awesome job next season, man. So that's pretty much all I got.
Well,
Off the top of my head.
that sounds good. Just keep the momentum rolling. We've got about a month-long break, but then you can fire it back up at Daytona and just keep the momentum rolling there. Go ahead, knock off your first pole of the season and your first win of the season then.
Yeah, I need a break. I'm definitely going to take these 4 weeks and do no sim racing whatsoever.
Sounds good. I'll be happy to see you back then.
Cool, man. Yeah, man. Well, appreciate everything you did, man. Good luck on your future adventures. I know you got some pretty big projects coming up.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, and I'll have a lot going on, but I know no matter what, I'm gonna have to make time to be here every Wednesday night that I can.
Yeah, man. That's all you can do.
All right. Well, sounds good. We will see you at Daytona in about 4 weeks.
All right, man. Take care.
That was, of course, Nick Nickerson, your Season 8 championship, 7 wins, 13 top 5s, and 18 top 10s. And real quick, I'm going to leave this graphic up for a second. I want to go ahead and thank Atzo's Dream, Sueño de Atzo. Thank Kevin Foster for sponsoring today's race. He was the sponsor of the race. We didn't mention it much. We had a whole lot to talk about. So let me go ahead and pull up the race logo again. It was the Sueño de Atzo Tequila Championship Night 200 at Richmond Raceway. And just one more time, I wanted to thank him for sponsoring the race. And a big shout out to Sueño de Atzo. He sponsored some races last season. I believe he has already sponsored some races for next season as well. So a huge shout out to Kevin Foster. And a big thank you for sponsoring the race. And again, if anyone is interested in sponsoring the race, you can go ahead and reach out to Bill Behart24 at Yahoo. You can go ahead and reach out to him. But before we go, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone that has watched. Everyone that's watched all season, really. I really appreciate it. This is going to be my final race of the year. A big thank you to Marshall for being such a great co-commentator. We came out at Daytona. It was really not Daytona, but the race before Daytona, a little test race, where we came out and I didn't even think that I was going to be, I thought I was just going to be producing and I was going to let him commentate the whole thing. We came out and we commentated together that time, and I had such a good time and we worked so well together. That's when I really wanted to co-commentate and commentate together, and it's worked great all season. And we've been able to work together, and I've had so much fun every single Wednesday night being able to broadcast for you guys, and I really appreciate it. Again, thank you to all the drivers. Thank you to all the people that have watched all season. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys are going to continue to support over on Full Send Racing Network, and that link is down below in the description, or you can look up Full Send Racing Network on YouTube. Remember to click the yellow or the orange logo, not the yellow logo. What am I saying? I'm tired. We've been going for 3.5 hours now, but I really appreciate everyone that's watched, and I'll see you guys next year. I won't see you guys next week, and I won't see you on this channel, but I'll either be on track or I'll be in the broadcast booth or something next year. But before we go, Marshall, is there anything you want to say about next season?
Yeah, I was going to say, to extend it even further at this point, you might as well go for it. But no, first of all, just absolutely thank you, Evan, for the opportunity in the first place. I remember similar to when you reached out and looked for an opportunity there to start, it was the exact same way. I just saw that you were looking out, and I definitely wanted a venture where I could just focus on the broadcast side of things, doing the commentary that I love to do, that I want to do as a permanent passion, as a permanent career. And I've tried to do my stuff. You'll see if you go to the Full Send Racing Network channel, which is kind of a rebrand of the stuff I've done in the past. It's always been, kind of community-based stuff, kind of smaller series that I've tried to produce from the ground up. It's certainly using a lot of assets that I make myself in terms of graphics and visuals. And I thought I did okay. I did everything I could. I knew I wasn't the best, but I came over here to this series, and Evan, you just absolutely knocked it out of the park. Like I couldn't comprehend when I came to this series the amount of tailored, visuals and just general production. These from the second I got here, I knew the bar was going to be set so high because it was one of the most incredible looking self-made broadcasts I've ever seen. And Evan, you have like absurd talent in so many ways technically, but those visuals you were able to put together, even now I see them, like the championship graphics and stuff like that, and I just go like, man, you've got sky's the limit there, and the fact that you were able to tailor your vision for what you wanted these broadcasts to be to your abilities as a graphic designer were perfect. Like it's the perfect combination, and it's why I'm going to be spending this next month, same as Nick. I might take a break from sim racing as a result a little bit. Might take some of my own time every once in a while, but I gotta prep because you've set the bar so darn high, man, and it's really gonna be a shame not to have you here. As you say, like that first race from Daytona, I was nervous coming to the biggest series that I've ever been a part of. I hadn't just done a commentary role to the side in quite a while, so to come back to immediately kind of have that chemistry there, to see you as such a good guy and somebody that was so passionate about what he was doing, it's carried through, and I've had so much fun every Wednesday, and to be introduced to this great community, guys, everybody at home and everybody who comes out every week, that I appreciate so much. But most of all to you, Evan, it's been an absolute pleasure, and Bill and everybody who runs this league have just made it such a great community, and to have that broadcasted to the world as a whole in such a great way it's been so special. So it's so sad to see you leave, man, but I can't wait to see you in a truck there, man. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really hoping for you for the best. And even if you don't have that confidence that you're going to be right up there up front immediately, we got so many good guys. Just plug away at it. And if I don't see you in the interview booth next season, I'll be really disappointed. So come on, man. Let's pull that podium out somewhere you're feeling good about. But I know you'll be back, subbing in every once in a while. But we got Mitch Sullivan coming in, driver in the series a lot. He's missed the last couple weeks. such a nice guy from everybody I've heard. It's been so fun talking to him, getting ready for this year. He's got a great set of skills as well on the technical side, more of a video designer guy. Another skill set I don't personally possess, so it's good that we can make up for each other's weaknesses there. But it's going to be great. I assure you all, this is something I'm so passionate about, everybody. The next season is, though the one race I did this year at California had no prep for it, wasn't very good. My mic was off for half the race by accident. It's going to be better. I'm going to put everything I have into it. And Evan, you just set the bar so high, man. So I'll do whatever I can to try to at least equal it. And again, it'll be so good to have you back in the booth after a while, man. These Wednesdays really do mean something to me. So have a great rest. Like Nick said, your ventures going forward. I wish you the absolute best, but I know you'll knock him out of the park there, and it'll just be great to see you again. So best of luck in your endeavors. And yeah, I don't know what to say. It's been a great experience, and you're the primary reason for that. So thank you so much, Evan.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'll be in the broadcast booth one way or another, whether it's me finishing up there or if I have to co-commentate a race to get up there. I'll be up there one way or another, that's for sure. But I'm really excited for next season as well, even though I'm not the one broadcasting it. I'm excited to be able to help out with some of the graphics for next season, and I hope to make them look even better than my ones do now. I think it's going to look really great, and Marshall's a great commentator, and he's going to be a great producer. It's going to be a great season as long as he remembers to cut his microphone on. But I've done that too, I think y'all have heard, I don't know how many interviews I've missed out on, or y'all have missed out on. I heard all of them, but y'all didn't hear any of them because of that. But it's going to be a great season next year, and I'm happy to help in the booth, behind the scenes, on track, any way that I can. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I guess that's going to do it for this season. So upon the request of pretty much everyone that I was talking to at the end of the last race, that they wanted me to have a special sign off. They said that I needed to do something special here at the end of the race. So, this is going to do it. We'll see you guys next season. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the schedule, but that's going to do it for Season 8 of the Bandit Racing League's Geezer Authentics Xfinity Series. Nick Nickerson is your champion. Everyone, I'll see you in about a month, about 4 weeks. Stay fast. Hang on. Sorry. There. hang on. Just a second. Just a second. Nope. Wrong button. There we go. I got the right button that time. Now, just forget that any of that happened. Forget that any of that happened at all. Okay. Hang on. Hold on, everybody. All right, everyone. Stay fast.